call the meeting to order. The recording is on. So this is Tuesday, April the 13th, 2021. The time is 6:06 p.m. And I'm calling this meeting to order. This meeting is for deliberation and voting upon appeals properly brought before the board. And we're working off a list of appeals that are covering mostly the Mill Hill or Neighborhood 70 code. So Peter and John and Kathleen, you all have appeals in this area. Do we have someone who would like to go first? Peter?
Kathleen, Alexis does too, so yeah, I'm going to defer to them because I'm available tomorrow and Thursday. So.
Okay. Alexis, do you want to finish up the ones you have? Did you get the information that you were waiting for?
Yeah, it looks like I got some of the information I needed. Yeah, thank you. Great.
Okay. Alexis, then why don't you work through your list?
Okay, very good. Thank you. So we will start at appeal number 326. And can everybody hear me? I've been having some audio issues. Okay, very good.
326. Okay.
Yeah, 326. It's 89 Barlow Place, and the owners are Sean and Jennifer Grega. So just scrolling through here, just bear with me for a minute, please. So the town is valued at $909,800. So I would like to make a motion to offer the appellant's opinion of fair market value of $680,000. $680,000.
Is there a second? I'll second. This is Harold.
Great, thank you. So the petitioner, they bought the home, it looks like, in 2017 for $650,000. I can't say I would agree with everything with their price, with their new price here, but I'm willing to work with them a bit. Anyways, they're saying that it's overvalued. They believe that they purchased the property, like I said, in December 2017 in fair condition. The gentleman who, the owner who presented the case said that he painted it a great deal. There's been he's done a lot of, handiwork around the home, that which he's improved upon it. They have since removed some areas of the home, such as the wood deck, which was a total of 530 square feet. They've also removed a finished glass porch, which was part of the home. It's kind of like a little greenhouse, which was 288 square feet. They've cleaned up the property substantially, and they've done, like I said, a lot of painting themselves. But they just feel like the house has gone up so dramatically from what they paid for at $680,000, just 5 years ago to almost to $909,000. So they feel strongly that it should have gone down in this reval period, considering those factors. They removed the deck, that enclosed porch. If you go through the file, the gentleman also incorporated several different comps that were sold in 2020, and they all have similar square footage to their property, in some cases even more, and we can go through that list. So 323 Old Post Road, for example, that was sold in this past September, and the square footage was 2,600 square feet roughly, and it was just assessed at $513,170. Old Barn Road, which you may be familiar with, that was sold in February of 2020, and that was assessed at $592,000. And the square footage there is just over 3,000 square feet. And that home, he pointed out, is in the very desirable area of town called Winton Park. So those were some of the comps that he brought up. He also wanted to know, and he noted this during his hearing, in the center of his house, there is a staircase that goes up from the middle floor to the top floor, and then there's another staircase underneath that goes to the basement. So he's saying that staircase takes up 52 square feet of the main floor and another 52 square feet on the top floor. And he doesn't believe that should be considered as living space.
Well, this is Harold. I don't know how surveys are done with regard to staircases, if they are considered as part of the living area or not. I'm not sure. Does anyone have any insight into that?
Yeah, I don't. This is the first time I saw the thing brought up. To know that he did that up in his hearing, if it's relevant or not.
This is Paulette. I think I would have to say that it is part of the living space. I mean, you use it to go up and down to get from one floor to the other. I don't think it's excluded from that space at all. So I don't know that that's a good argument. It's
Okay.
inside the house. It's in the middle of the house. So
Yeah,
Unfortunately, that appraisal he supplied was from 2017,
correct.
and then we can't use it. We can't use that.
I can't use that.
But while we're sitting, if you see me looking down, I was actually looking on the MLS, and I did see a few comparables. On Doreen and Dill and Shady Hill Road, they're at 675 and 680, all of them. And they're all the smallest one. Doreen is 2,600. Dill is 2,659 square feet. Shady Hill is 2,824. And those all actually, let me get rid of Shady Hill closed in 18, but Dill and Doreen both closed in 2019. So, and I'm sure I could find some more, but those few I just pulled pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I can look at a few also.
This is Harold. This home sits on 20,000 square feet, 0.46 acres. Are the other properties similar size, and are they in the same neighborhood code of 73?
You'll have to check on the neighborhood code. I did 71 Doreen is just under a quarter acre. 14 Dill is about a third of an acre. Shady Hill was about a third of an acre. Now there is on Round Hill Road also. Round Hill Road is 2,800 square feet over. That actually goes at 730, and that's 1075 Round Hill. And that closed in July of 19. So what we absolutely know is that the town's assessment there, or the town's opinion of value, is definitely way too high. That's very obvious.
So this is Kathleen. I mean, the Dill Road, some of those other comps, I mean, they can walk, this house is really close to the train in town. So it's just off of Barlow Road. The cul-de-sac is south of Barlow Road. He's got one Barlow Road comp on there, but that's a busy street. That house is down from the street. And I think that sold in the 7s, and that's definitely not. His house is much nicer. That's a nice cul-de-sac with, a million plus homes on it on that Barlow place. And like I said, it's an easy walk to town and train. So anything Doreen or some of those other ones is much farther away. Even the Winton Park one is farther from town than this particular property. So I'm not saying that he might not be over, but he's definitely not. That's definitely not. And I went in that house, not a 680 house if he's fixed it up. And he also appealed it in 2018. I don't know if there was gasoline or some issues potentially with the garage in that house when it was on the market for a long time. You guys can probably look at it, but there were I know the previous owner had fixed up cars and things in there, but if he's taken off the porch, he's done a bunch of other things to the house, I'm sure he's improved it since he bought it. But I think the reason he jumped so much was because he got a good, he got a reduction in 18 when he bought it. So that's why he's jumping, not necessarily, I don't believe, because, he's way overvalued, at least for that street. And there may be some other sales on that street. I don't know. I know the one on the corner was on at some point in time. It sold multiple times, and that's a tough one. But that's the second or third house on the left. It's kind of on the bend. And it's a nice street. It's, close to the university, close to town. So I seriously can't support the 680, and I don't know where to put him in between without doing a bit more work. The one that sold on, what was it, Winton Road? I don't know if that's a.
Oh, listen, I just went a half a mile and closer. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, may I share with you what sells around the 900? Ermine Street at 1.38 acres, a 3,300 square foot home. That closed at 855. So, we're not close to that. Okay, so if I go over on square footage and I look at square footage, I still see Taunton at 655. So a little bit of a smaller lot, but that was on the market for a long time. Right, so that was problematic.
This,
Paulette, what are you looking at the MLS? You want to help me?
I'm looking at
help
it.
this homeowner out here?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. One of the key things is the condition of the house, and we don't know what he did in there. I don't have the field. The field card doesn't look like it's with this. I'm on a board site. Does somebody have the field card? I mean, did he apply for any permits to do any work? Because the bathrooms are really dated. The kitchen's dated. The bathrooms are worse than the kitchen. So I don't know what he actually did in there. I don't.
But what
I
he
can only
said
see the
was,
pictures from.
yeah, sorry,
said he
I'm
painted.
Paul, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
The
Sorry,
last
that's
just
okay.
permit was in 2005, Paulette.
What?
The last permit.
2005 was the last permit.
So unless he did it without permits, but if he didn't, if all he said he did was painting, then maybe the thing to do is take a look at it, because that's one issue. The land, of course, is another, but with location. But if that house is in basically the same condition as it was, then it shouldn't have really gone up in value. I don't know what this land value is, but that might have changed.
So,
But I think that 909 is just, I agree with you. 909 is too much, even though the street could support it. I don't think that house is a 909 house, is what I'm saying.
this is Harold. I'm looking at vision on other properties on the street. I see 17 Barlow Place was sold on December 9th of 2020, just after the reval period, and its appraised value is $1,087,900. If I go further,
Well, hold on,
What did
Harold.
it sell for, Harold? What did it sell for?
sorry,
What was the square footage on that house?
it's a bigger house. It's a bigger house.
Well,
It's,
that makes a big difference.
I know it does, but that's just the first one I see on the street. I'm looking at others on the street as well.
And Harold, what did it sell for? Not what it's appraised at. What's the sale price?
it
on
was an
that?
unqualified sale.
It's an unqualified sale. It's been handed down through the family, it appears.
Got it.
There is no, I do notice that for at least this road, I'm doing what Harold's doing, and I notice there's a site index of 6 versus the standard of 5 with that.
This is a cul-de-sac street. It's a very nice street.
Yeah, no, and that's probably why it has a site index of 6, which would then increase it a little bit more. The land value, in addition to the condition and the neighborhood adjustment.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
that's, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Alexa, did he say he took off the sun? Because I've seen the sunroom. He took the sunroom off. He took the porch off. I mean, it needed a new kitchen and mudroom, really needed to be opened up. I'm just surprised, if he has no permits, that they've lived in it for that long and not done work to it. Because I know they like to fix things up. So I would be surprised if they kept it in the condition that they, knowing what it was like, I'd be surprised if they kept it in that condition. So did they show, they didn't give us pictures of the
They didn't give
interior?
us information, so we don't know if they did
Right,
or didn't.
like I said,
So
I'd just
I
be
don't know.
very surprised because it definitely needed some work.
And based
Yeah.
on what the appellant has said, they took down they said they took the wood deck off and the porch enclosure, which is finished. I'm assuming that's that like potting shed or what
Yeah, it's like a
what it
greenhouse,
is.
John.
Greenhouse.
There's
Thank
a
you.
large sunroom off the back left corner of the house.
Yeah,
It's kind of
but
awkward.
those two things, the greenhouse and the wood deck, are still on the field card.
Mhm.
Not that that would, by eliminating them, you're not even looking at 30,000 that would take off on under the underappreciated value with the card.
This is Harold. I do recall this house coming, this property coming before the board a couple of years ago, and I do see that there was a change made back then in
2018.
2018.
Mhm.
I don't know what it was.
But Kathleen, we probably took it down close to his sale price. That's my guess, is that's probably what we did with it, was take it down that low.
Is it possible to look that up?
What we did, yeah, well, you can do it, if someone can do the math, you can back it out and figure out what the appraised value was, or actually might be on the card, if you go to the main card and not the field card. I'm just looking for other stuff. What's that neighborhood? 77? 70.
Is anybody gonna do the 7-minute timer for us? Keep us
We
in
need time
line?
for that. I can tell you what time we started it. You want me to look? I'm trying to keep minutes and look at all this other stuff at the
Well,
same
for the
time.
next one, let's start the timer
Yeah,
so we can
so,
move
I mean,
forward and be efficient.
Sure. So this is my feeling on this one. I think he's asking for a price that's really way too low. I think he's probably done work to it. He hasn't proven his case, and I'd rather give him the opportunity to come back than try to figure out and spend 20 minutes trying to figure out where he should be, because he's on a really good street, very close to town, university, and everything. So 690 is way too low. So that's where I said.
Considering that in 2019 and 18, the appraised value for the house was 780,000.
That's correct. That's what I see as well. This is
Yeah, it's even lower than that. No.
So from 2019 to now, 780 becomes 909.8, which is a big jump if nothing's done. And what about the things he says he removed? Does somebody need to go out and see that to make sure that they're done, that they're not there, and adjust his card at least?
Well, this is Harold. I think that a large portion of this value increase has to do with the fact that the land values in the area have increased. It's not in the dwelling per se. It's more in the land. So that is affecting the value to that difference. I mean, if there wasn't a revaluation and the land values didn't go up, the value of the property as a whole would not have gone up as much.
That's true. But how much did the land go up? I mean,
I don't know,
did it
Miss
go up?
Kathleen, but I think he can get, if he put that on the market today or even in October, do I think he could have gotten close to 9 for it? I mean, I do. That's
Well, it would depend.
it's a nice
It would certainly,
colonial.
it would depend on the condition of it, though, and because we don't know the
And that's
condition.
what I'm saying. Without pictures of the interior, it's really difficult to see. And if he didn't pull any permits, like I said, it's been painted at least. The outside, that's a new bay window. That bay window, I don't believe was there in that shape anyway by the front door. So I don't remember the rest of it, but I
would like to call a vote. Unless there's further discussion, I'll call a vote. All those in favor of granting the appeal to the requested value of 600 and what was it?
80,000.
$680,000. Please raise your hand. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
And I'm voting no on this, Harold.
I'm sorry, Alexis, I can't see you.
Yep, I'm voting no.
Okay, I didn't call that yet. I have 4. I'm sorry, let me do this again. All those in favor of granting this appeal, please raise your hand. All those opposed, raise your hand. And Alexis, you are a no?
I am, yep, correct.
Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opposed, abstaining. I have 2 abstentions. The vote is 0, 5, 2. The appeal is not granted. I have Paulette and Judy abstaining. Thank you.
Harold, one thing though, I just want
Yeah.
to clarify. So I understand the vote, that's not the issue. So now, because he said he removed those 2 things from the house, is the assessor going to go out there and check it? Because even though it could be a total of 30,000, if he doesn't have those things, he shouldn't be assessed for them.
Well, I think that a request should be made, and it could be made by any of us for the assessor to go out and do an inspection and see if the card should be changed.
Okay,
Yes, this is Kathleen, and then he would get a card,
Information, though.
yeah, he would get a card correction for that, which
Right.
isn't, it's different than an appeal. He just gets a
Right.
card correction. Yeah.
Yep. So can we just ask him, or do we have to make a motion? What do you have to do?
No, I think you can make a request to the assessor's office using the form that we have online.
If
Okay,
the assessor's right here, we can't just ask them to do that?
yeah,
Well, I don't know. Are we now going to ask the assessor for his advice?
no, we're not asking for his advice. We're asking him if he would be willing to go look at something. That's different.
Okay,
This is Kathleen. I'll put it in. I'm at my computer.
Okay,
I'll put
great.
it in right now under Alexis's name, and then it's done. And because we
Thank
need
you,
it,
Kathleen.
yeah, we need a record of everything, right? All these get put in a database, and everything needs to be documented. So I'll do that.
I
Thank
think
you.
Kathleen,
it's
Sure.
better protection. This is Harold. I think it's better protection for everyone if we make a formal request and it gets put into the record. That way we know we have a substantive document supporting the request.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Alexis, you have another one there? You want to move into your Mill Hill area?
Yeah, this is, we'll go to Southport, number 264. It's 209 Woodrow Avenue in Southport.
Okay,
Not sure if you guys are familiar with this street, but it's right off of kind of near old Post Road, right off exit 19 in that vicinity.
I know where it is.
Okay, I'm sure you do. So the town's value is 389,800, and the appellant's fair market value is 309 even. So I'd like to make a motion to consider the appellant's opinion a fair market value of $309,000.
I'll second that, Judy.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Judy. So I don't know if you guys have been on this street, but there's been a massive change in this street in the last decade or so. They're these were tiny, fairly modest homes in this area, and they've all been really knocked down. And it's basically they're rebuilding the neighborhood. The appellant, Mr. Ruda, is resisting that and is basically leaving his house as it is. This is a house where he grew up. I think he purchased it from his family in 2014. So anyway, it's a tiny.
okay. This is Harold. Do we know of any similar properties in the area that we can point to?
This is
As an FYI, I was just looking at this house. The rear property line backs up to commercial. I'm trying to figure out what commercial that is, but I see it.
Condos, no?
Is it? You know what? Actually, it is condos because I see a pool, but I see all of that. That does, just as an FYI. Yep.
Yeah, and he did
yeah.
pictures of that. I'm not sure if it made the file. They've tried to ask the condo people to put up a fence because they can literally see it. There's no privacy there, and that has not worked out.
Okay.
So this is John.
This home is 832 square feet and was built in 1924.
Correct.
I think
Yeah,
it's a little,
that's small.
It's like a cottage essentially.
Bungalow, yep, little bungalow.
So this is John. I just want to say I'm looking at page 3 where he has comparable 2-bedroom properties that sold, and they seem to be, um, I guess, all over the place. I mean, there's one right by me in Alberta, which is Stratfield. High Street, I don't think is in the Mill Hill. So I
Yeah,
don't
but
know
John,
how many of these.
he couldn't find any comps in Southport. There aren't many 800 square feet houses in Southport. He's the gentleman's a realtor. He told me he could not find anything in his area.
I mean, I can get, and I can understand that and appreciate that since it is a 2-bedroom, one bath, that it is hard.
And it is, this is Harold, it's only 7,500 square feet. It is quite a small lot, and the land value in this area is quite high.
If you could do something with it, but that's tiny. Did you look at
Can't do anything with it.
the other sales on Arbor Terrace and Woodrow? And they were both tear downs, and even at the tear down price, it's 280 or 325. You know, and they were both larger than the subject. The 3 bedrooms. And also newer. Well, the one on Arbor Terrace is built in 44, but they're tear downs.
So I
It's
do.
a much larger property. So I mean, he's being very reasonable here. He's not asking for the world. He's
So
asking to be reasonable. I think he's fine.
this is
What he's
John.
got.
I do see that on the card, couple things. Looks like in 2016, which was the 2015 reval, the appellant visited the BAA and did receive a change. Because I mean, if you look at how much they jumped, it's like 90,000 as far as assessed value. I also do notice that they do have a 0.05 condition taken off for a location, and I'm going to assume that that's because it abuts to the complex, the condo complex there.
This is Harold. Given the size of the property, the size of the dwelling, and the fact that previously the appraised value or the assessed value is shown on the card, but the appraised value was 269.5, and now it's he's requesting a fair market value of approximately $400,000, $40,000 more than that. I think that he is being reasonable. If you feel that the 309 is too low and the 389 is too high, you might want to do something in between, but I think that given the size of the lot, where it's located, and the dwelling, it's not, and there is an increase from the previous reval period that doesn't necessarily take into consideration all of the jump in the land value, that it's not unreasonable. It's not an unreasonable request.
This is Paulette. I think he's being reasonable. I think 309 is too much, but that's what he asked for. But I have a question about the land value. The land value in that area is high, Southport, but not every street deserves that same value, and this one certainly doesn't. So I just want to clarify, is there an adjustment made for that street, or is it just a blanket that this is the land in Southport and this is the factor, 1 point whatever? I just don't know the answer to that.
So my understanding, Paulette, is
Yes.
that everybody in the Mill Hill, in this, what is it, 77?
70.
Okay, their land will get a 1.7, I believe it is. That's what's on the rate card. Let me just double check.
That's correct.
Okay, so everybody would get a 1.7, and then there can be a plus or minus or no additional change based on the hold on for a second, not condition factor. Condition factor I've never seen, or at least in the appeals that we've had thus far, I've never seen anything above a 1.0, but we've seen, that the condition factor has gone, is lower than 1.0 for various reasons. Like in this case here, they have a condition factor of 0.95. So basically they've got a 5% discount because of the location. And then the other thing that I've noticed is that there's the site index on the landline. Okay. And a site index of 5, I believe from looking at the tables, is basically a 1.0 adjustment. If it's like a 6, then that goes up, it's higher than a 1 adjustment. I don't know, I'd have to look at the table. But like when we were looking at Sycamore, and those all had site indexes of 9. So there was, a larger jump based on the site index that also gets factored in with the neighborhood adjustment. I don't know if I lost you on that.
No, I got it.
But
I got it. So,
okay.
so in this case, then the land value is what? The factor is 1.7, and then it can
For
be
the
adjusted
neighborhood.
for the neighborhood.
And then,
Okay.
yep, for the neighborhood. But then they, on top of that, they get like a 5% discount right now with the condition of being 0.95.
Okay.
And the notes say location. So I'm assuming that the location is because it abuts to the condo complex. Because usually other notes we've seen is like highway or traffic, something like that.
Wetlands, yep.
Wetlands, definitely wetlands or topo, etc.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I'd
That's a
also
help.
like to note this is a cut through street. I actually used to live on Woodrow Avenue. And I know for a fact it's a cut through that goes to, there's a convalescent home up the street now and whatnot. It's right by the throughway. Again, this guy is being reasonable, and I hope that you'll support this.
I'd like to call a vote. All those in favor of granting this appeal with a request of $309,000, please raise your hand. I have one, 2, 3, 4. Alexis?
I vote in favor.
5 in favor. Opposed? 2 opposed. The motion is carried with a vote of 5-0. No abstentions.
Harold, this is Kathleen. Can you just tell me, because I can't see everybody, just tell me when there's, the negative, the minority. So it was me, I raised my hand. Who was the other no?
Peter, I'm sorry. Yes.
That's
Peter.
okay. Just help with the minutes. Thanks.
Absolutely.
All right, that one took 10 minutes, so that's not too bad. So
Okay, Alexis, do you want to finish your list?
I'll give someone else a turn, and then I'll continue after that.
Okay. Peter, ready to go? Excellent. Thank you.
All right, just give me 1 second to get the property on the computer. All right, so this is going to be Appeal 545, which is 1200 Bronson Road.
John, you have one on Bronson Road too, right?
Do I? I
do
know
that
I've got one.
yes,
Yes, I
one
do.
left.
I have one left there.
Yeah,
And you had some on Bronson too, Kathleen, is that correct?
this is Kathleen. Yeah, I think I did all of mine, and Peter's got 2 on Bronson. So if we want to group
Okay.
all the, it depends where they are on Bronson. Some are different values.
Peter's are closer to where mine, I think, were the
All right.
other night.
We'll give you a shot to finish up your Bronson after Peter.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
this is appeal number 545. The property address is 1200 Bronson Road. The owner is Judith Bacanfuso, and the appellant was attorney Paul Ganem. The town has valued this property at $774,600, and they're requesting a value of $460,000. So I make a motion to grant the appellant's requested value of $460,000. Do I have a second?
I'll
This is
second.
Harold, I'll second.
Harold, thank you. Okay, so this is this property is a 1966 Cape, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 0.817 on 0.817 acres and 3,002 square feet. It does have a 0.9 condition for the shape. I guess it's called a flag lot. That ring a bell for anybody? But it has that reduction on it, and it's got depreciation of about what's that, 33%, and a factor of 3. He says this is a vintage 1966. It's not been updated. He had some sales, MLS Concluded Sales, 820 Sturgis Road. Let me just go through those comps here. All right. 820 Sturgis Road, that sold for, well, actually, that was an unqualified sale. It sold for $485 on 1120. Smaller, it's a little bigger acreage, but smaller square footage. That also has a 0.95 condition on it. The next one was, let's see, 1012 Mill Plain Road, and that sold for $505,000. I guess that's a historical home, but that has the 0.267 acres, and again, smaller square footage, 2,127 square feet. And that has a condition of 0.9 as well for highway and traffic. Also 55 or 45% appreciation. The next one was 275 Mill Plain Road, and 275 Mill Plain Road sold for $445,000. Again, appears to be an unqualified sale. 72120. That's a colonial, 1913 colonial. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. About half the acreage, and about 500 square feet less. Let's say 400 square feet less in living space. That does have a 0.8 condition for the topography and the highway, and a 52% depreciation on that. So let me see. I had one more comp here. Let's see. Why do I have one more comp here? 37 Limerick Road, which was a sale on 620. That went for $639,900. But is smaller piece of property, slightly smaller home, living space, and that has about 34% depreciation on it. So, I mean, the major thrust here was that it hasn't really had much updating. So let me just.
This is Kathleen. Peter, he wants to go to 460. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any notes otherwise to say why. I don't recall that I think he's just, looking at those first couple sales, which were, pretty low, 445. There were two unqualified sales, one for 485, one for 445.
I guess it wouldn't benefit him to use the other, ones that we talked about last week, that are further up the road that were in the 700,000s, etc. I do see that he does back up to Perry's Mill Pond, which I believe is part of the Mill River. With that, I guess I'd like Judy and Paulette, I'd just be curious because I'm looking at the map here. And would you say that like the Mill Plain Road and the Bronson Road are kind of split by, or the neighborhoods would be split by that Mill River and things like that? Because there seems to be a lot of water in between those neighborhoods there.
Yeah, there's a lot of water, and actually his house, according to the map on the MLS, his house is in the 500-year floodplain. So he will have some value issues because it looks like it's right on the ground, and that would also be an issue for resale, or like doing.
It's showing. So, and I have a comment or two. Peter, you didn't understand the flag lot. You didn't understand that term. I'm going to explain it to you.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
All right. So I want you to envision, as I look on the map, if I were to look at 1218 and 1222 Bronson Road, you could see that this was one really big parcel. And at one point, somebody split those right in the middle, right? So they have a big, long lot. Mm-hmm. And then for each of those lots, 1218, they decided to split it again. And they took a one-time cut and they made a very long driveway. And now this parcel, or this property number 1200, is not visible from the street. It's a rear lot. And if you were to look at the lot, it almost looks like a flag on a flagpole because you've got that long driveway with the flag, right? So it's a rear lot. It is bordered by another house that also has a flag lot. And as a rear lot, you would hope, because you don't have frontage, you would at least hope to possibly get some privacy. But he doesn't have any privacy either because there's another flag lot and there's another house pretty darn close to it. So that is a flood zone. So those are the things I just wanted to bring to everybody's attention.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Can you see those two? You see that other house? It's kind of close. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Whoever brought that up. Thank you.
Well, he's got plenty of privacy in the back.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He doesn't have it on the side of his house. He's got somebody right there. He's got somebody in front of him too.
Yeah.
And he's on a flood zone in the back there. He's got a flood. He's got water there. So
I do see that he has wetlands, or is in the wetland buffer zone for most of the property on the GIS.
I should say she. Her name is Judith.
Oh,
I should have remembered that.
My apologies.
This is Harold. A question was raised earlier about the appellant's opinion of fair market value of $460,000. It appears that the assessed value previously was $460,740. Now, she did present some comps that were in the 400 range, but even if you went back to her previous assessment and came up with the appraised value, that's still $658,000, which is $120,000 less than the current town value. So I think that the 460 is far too low. The previous assessment was increased because, again, land values have increased. The dwelling itself did not increase. So I think that the increase is pretty much in the land. And maybe looking at what the previous assessment was and seeing what a relatively appropriate increase to that might be, and
So-
not go all the way to 774,600.
Yeah.
Kathleen?
So I would just, oh, go on. Kathleen, go on.
No, go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, I mean, I'm reading it that the land did go up, slightly, like $5,000 in the appraisal, but it appears that the home went up, significant amount. So I would, question why that would be the case, especially if nothing's really happened, I mean, he said it's not been updated.
Oh, yes, I stand corrected. It's the house that increased in value
Yeah.
significantly. And it doesn't seem to be any proof being presented one way or the other as to why that should be.
I guess just for me, I'm not feeling the comps with this. That's why
This
I
is
was
definitely-
asking.
No, I agree. One of that 275 Mill Plain is right on 95. It's, it's a tall house, but it is literally under the highway. We've seen that comp a couple of times used already. That 445 house in July. This house has privacy. It's got Perry's Mill Pond in the back, which is town property, and no boat. It's
People
private
don't like
property.
rear lots, Kathleen.
Yeah, but we also had some sales on Bronson Road in the 7th, so I'm just not seeing.
People don't like rear lots. They're not as marketable. And this one also has wetlands and it's not as marketable.
I just don't think I don't think it's a 4 property, and I wish they had, adjusted some others on Bronson Road and brought them down to be more, in a better place than this. I just think that's really, really low.
So then let's look at the one on Sturgis Road. It's right around the corner. Great.
Yeah, this is definitely, that was on the market for a long time. I don't know what was wrong with it, but that was on for a couple years, I think, right? That 820 Sturgis.
There was one there that was on for a really long time. Let me see.
Yeah, I think it was 820 Sturgis. Look, I looked at the picture. It looks familiar to me. I think it's way down. It may be a lot lower, but
You said 820 Sturgis?
yeah, that was one of the other comps. I would definitely not use the 1012 Mill Plain. I mean, the 275 Mill Plain. He also had Limerick in his backup at 639. I saw that in the file, unless that was a mistake. I don't know why that was in there.
Let's see Sturgis.
You just put on the wrong file. And I don't know why 1012 Mill Plain. Again, this is almost an acre property, and just think it has more value than 440. Now, I don't know.
So the
if they've done a
8
better job.
So the 820 Sturgis is showing on mine or on the GIS as being like 1, 2, 3, 4 houses down. And that's also a flag property. I thought it was further down.
Got a little bit more land. Let's see how many times it's been on the market.
Is this house 3,000 square feet?
Yes.
This is a big house.
Okay, so Kathleen, I'm looking at the property history on the Sturgis property. And it's not the one you're thinking of. I know the one you're thinking of was on the market a long time. This one was listed on 9/2/20 and it sold on 11/15/20. So it was not on the market that long. Started at
And it
675.
and it is an unqualified sale. I don't know for what reason.
Okay,
So-
well, that would be good to know. Because they might be unqualified, but it's maybe usable for us. It could be, I mean, Russ had mentioned some reasons why it's not always because it's a family transaction. So,
And really, and that one actually, oh wait. So that
That's like a
is-
log cabin inside. If you look at the picture, it's like a log cabin.
and a nice pool too.
Yeah, the inside needs some work.
All right, is there any consideration going to be made for the pricing of the requested value?
This is Paulette. I think we should try to make an adjustment. I think 774 is too much for the house. Way too much. But 460 is too low.
It's way too low.
Do we have any homes in the upper sixes, low sevens to compare?
Let's see.
Oh, Peter has another one on Bronson, 1372 Bronson is coming up pretty, right? That's another one of yours, Peter, was at 786,
Yeah.
and they want to go to 714. You can table this one and move on to the other one if you want. We've been on this one for almost 20 minutes.
All right, let's move on to the other one and go back to this.
All right, we'll take no action on this for now.
Okay.
Or table it. This is Kathleen. Do you think we're going to come back to it and finish it tonight? Probably, right?
Yes?
Yeah. So if you put it on the table, John, is that the term? You've done.
I think so. Lay on the table, and we just need a vote for the lay on the table, I guess.
Want to call a vote, Harold?
I'll call a vote. All those in favor of tabling this appeal, the motion of this appeal, please raise your hand. Alexis? Alexis, how do you vote? Judy? Are you voting in favor?
We're going to table it for a moment, and then we're going to come back to it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
The vote is 6 in favor. I don't hear a vote from Alexis, so we'll leave it at 6 in favor of tabling.
I'm sorry, I was on mute, Harold. I'm sorry, I was on mute. I was
Okay.
voting in favor of tabling it.
Okay.
Thank you.
7-0.
It's unanimous. It's 7 in favor of tabling the motion. And we're going to go now to look at Peter, your other Bronson
Yep.
Road, or
Yeah, just give me a second to get it on my screen. It's appeal 619. All right, so this is appeal 619. The property address is 1372 Bronson Road. The owners are Grace and Wesley Lee, and the appellants were Grace and Wesley Lee. The town's valued this property at $786,900, and they've requested a value of $714,000. All right, so let me just, this is a
Oh, we
1970.
need a second.
I'll
sorry,
second.
yep.
This is
Thanks,
John.
John.
Oh, I didn't make that motion, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, right. So I make a motion to grant the appellant's value to $714,000. And John, you second?
I'll
Thank you.
second it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So they did go to an informal and did not have a change given. So this is 1972 Colonial. They purchased it back in 2016 for $714,000, and actually that was the reason why they went with that requested value. Let's see, it's got 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. It's got about 32% depreciation on it. It's on 0.77 acres. And let's see here. So just to give you a couple, they just, they feel like they, haven't done anything, original state. They said all the bathrooms and kitchen are the same. The roof was replaced sometime in the late 90s. They did replace a boiler recently. You know, they think they'd have to spend a lot of money to bring it up to, that value, the 786, 900 value. They provided, they actually had a bank appraisal, and then they provided some other comps that they wanted to look at. So I'll go through the bank comps first. The bank comps were 16. The first one was 1677 Bronson Road. That was sold on in August of 20 for 758, adjusted down to 690, 800. And that one's on a larger piece of land.
Can I make a
Yeah.
comment on
Oh
that?
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
That one we actually we heard last week.
Mhm.
I think that was like our centerpiece for a bunch of them, right, Kathleen?
Which the 774 bronze? Oh,
No, what is it?
1677.
1677,
the ranch.
the ranch. And we actually brought them down to pretty much what their sales price was. It was actually 758 was what they bought it for. They asked for 760, acknowledging some time appreciation, and we granted it at 760. So this guy took that 760 and marked it all the way down to 690, was it?
7 yeah 690, 800. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So it's a little bit bigger land, but and slightly larger square footage. It does look like it. No, actually, it's about the same in depreciation. All right. So then 969 Powderhorn Lane. This is a 1981 colonial, and a much smaller piece of land, only on about a quarter of an acre, and slightly smaller square footage. That was adjusted down. That sold for 635 and 1120, and that was adjusted up to 685, 610. Then Fife, 15 Fife. I think that's how you say that.
Mhm.
So 230. That was adjusted. I don't know. I don't have the sales. Oh yes, it was 685. It was sold for 685, and then it was adjusted up to 704, almost 705. That one does have it's a much smaller piece of property. Well, it's a smaller piece of property, and it does have a condition of a 0.9 for the traffic and highway. Then also 359 Taunton was sold for 696 in 820, and then it's been adjusted to 692, and that's again smaller piece of property, smaller square footage. And then the 1653 Mill Plain, and that's 716 180 adjusted, where the sale price was I don't seem to have the sale price for that, but anyway, it was adjusted to 716. It's in the appraisal there. That also has a traffic condition on it, so it does have that reduction. So they also that appraisal came in at 695. That was a 118.21 appraisal, but it came in at 695. All right. So then they wanted to use some other ones that were other comps that were recent sales. So they put 340 Half Mile Road, which sold for 805. It's definitely, it's bigger, property, yeah, bigger, piece of property, slightly bigger square footage. Does have a, condition of, 5% for, topography and water. 895 Benson. I mean, their big thing, actually, that 340 Half Mile Road, that actually was just recently redone. I guess there was some fire, in the note cards, it had extensive, work done because of fire damage.
Yeah.
So it looks like it was torn down and, rebuilt. So, that's, that one, their argument was that, all of these are pretty much ready to move into. Now, I mean, I don't see that necessarily on the cards, right? I mean, that one for sure, I would say, because that had that extensive work. But these other one, 895 Bronson, which sold for 750, which in 12 of 20. Slightly smaller land, slightly smaller square footage. That had 37% depreciation on it. Spruce Street, 71 Spruce Street, that sold for 782, 150 in May of 20, and that has again, smaller square footage, about the same, or slightly smaller acreage and square footage. That has a 47% depreciation on it, and then 1509 Brookside, that sold for 715 in May of 20, and that has about 35% appreciation. So
yeah. So this is Kathleen. As an aside, the picture on the field card is wrong. That's not the house. If you look at the appraisal or you look at the listing online, you can see what the house looks like. So the picture is wrong.
Right. They did mention that, but they said the data all seems correct for the home. So
right.
And I guess we should put in. I don't know if that's something we can put in for a correction.
The appellant does mention condition factors, and yet the appraisal does not show any internal photos of the home.
Kathleen, you can see it online because it sold recently, right? So all the pictures of the inside are online. And I went in that house, so that the kitchen is dated, but it is a nice, it's a nice colonial 2-car garage. The kitchen's on that space on the right. It needs a little bit of work, but it's got a nice family room in the back, some privacy, the fence, the open space in the back. So it's a nice home. It's on the smaller, was it 2,100 square feet, I think. But, and part of it's dated, but it was, I think, well kept up. So
yeah.
Carl, the assessment did go down from the prior period by about what? It did go down from 579, 180 to 550, 830, which did reduce the appraised value down to 827. Well, it was 827,400 in the last reval period, and now it's being assessed for about $40,000 less. So the town has taken the property down some.
Yeah, I mean, it went down. The property went down. Like almost seven. What's that? $60,000.
Yeah. So
Hey guys.
I think it's 40.
We're belaboring this over and over again, and I think we really need to figure out what we're doing. We're spending a lot of time, and at this rate, we're not going to be done until June. So we've got an appraisal here. We have. I don't think we need to go over every single detail. We are all accustomed to looking at the appraisals. So let's do something instead of talking. We're going on and on. It's like 20 minutes for each one. We've got to get through these for the taxpayers.
So this is Kathleen. So in my head, I'm just going to the comp on Bronson Road that had a pool, and was it about 2,100 square feet? I think it was, John, right? That ranch. So I'm just comparing it to the ranch with the pool. That ranch was a little dated. So if this is not quite as nice as the ranch, then I would say their appraisal's pretty close. Is
I'm having a hard time with the appraisal for that valuing that ranch $70,000 less than what, it sold for and what we gave them gave them.
All right,
Let's,
yes, go ahead. Any comments? I'm going
yeah,
to
let's just look at it one time. Let's forget the ranch for now. We're looking at this house with this appraisal. So let's finish this one and then think about the other one.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, I have a hard time believing that they bought this for 714 in 2016, and that, there's been no increase in, and I mean, even the appraisal, I mean, it's, I think there's value there that, is not at their sale price of 2016. It should be closer to the town's value.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can call a vote.
Okay, I would like to call a vote. All those in favor of granting the requested value of $714,000, raise your hand. Alexis, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
So there's 3 in favor, opposed, 4 opposed. The motion does not carry. The vote is 3-4-0.
Guys, I'm gonna take a quick break and I'll be right back, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need like 10 minutes. It won't be long, 10, 15 minutes tops. It won't be long. Okay?
All right.
All right, thank you, everyone.
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Do you want me to go back to the tabled? I think that was my only Bronson.
Don't go back to the tabled one until I come back, please.
All right. I have another one on Bronson Road.
Okay. And this is Harold. I would like to take a 15-minute break at 7:30, if that's okay. I think we'll have a quorum.
Miss Kathleen, we still have a quorum now, don't we? Yeah.
Yes, we're continuing now.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep going.
We have
I think
fun.
Alexis left, right? Yeah. All right.
Right back.
So this is again, let me get the property up. This is appeal number 278, which is 1371 Bronson Road.
So like right across the street from the property we just discussed.
Yeah.
All right.
Could you repeat the appeal number, please?
278. 1371 Bronson Road. The owners are Marissa and Robert Klieg, and Greg Lane was the appellant. The town has valued this property at $780,100, and they're requesting a value of $625,000. I make a motion to grant the appellant's value to $625,000. Do I have a second?
This is John. I'll second.
All right, thanks, John. All right, so this is just to go quickly through it. It's 1963 Colonial on 0.85 acres, 2,142 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and about 34% depreciation on this property, on the home, right? There was an appraisal provided, and so they said they've not done a lot, 8 years, not done a lot, and they provided some comps in there. I mean, I have to say, I was, the comps were 1573 Bronson Road, which was, an unqualified sale.
That was can I just make a comment from memory on that one? That was the one, again, we debated about that was appealed last week. That originally was sold, I think, in 16 or something for 1.15 million, and was sold for that 650. And I believe we said it needed a lot of work in it. There, like the pool was unusable and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
that was a super low sale at 650. It's 4,400 square feet, 1.43 acres. So I
Right.
I would not use that. That's low. That's a low ball sale. So that.
And I mean, the town, the town has appraised that property at $1 million, almost $1.2 million.
Yeah, we adjusted it down to the low eights because it
Yeah.
needs so much work, was where we put it, but we didn't put it at the sale price of 650.
Yeah.
So just to be aware of that comp.
Sure.
I don't have a problem with that comp because even though
I know.
I don't have a problem with it because he made adjustments. No matter whatever no matter what value we gave it, it doesn't matter to him. He doesn't know that. He just knows what he's doing. There's no reason not to look at that. There's three counts. Don't weigh that the heaviest, but I certainly wouldn't discount it totally.
Well, he did. Okay. So, and he did adjust to 664, but I mean, he can't, I mean, if it was an unqualified sale that, brought in a very low price, I mean, I don't know if he can adjust. I mean, if he's adjusting, he made no adjustment for an unqualified sale.
We don't know why it's unqualified though. There could be different reasons. They know they're supposed to be looking at that too. And we don't know why it was unqualified. And I don't even know if Ross knows. There's different reasons. Some reasons you can't use them. Some reasons don't make a difference. I don't really know what the reason is. I don't remember that we knew last time either.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if it was unqualified. It was on the market for a long time. We talked about it for a while. This is Kathleen. But I'm just, one of the things I started to notice on these appraisals, if you look at the adjusted sale price of comparables at the bottom, when you see the net change and the gross change should be like around, from what I understand, should be around 25%. So when you see a gross adjustment of 71%, 43%, and 37%, that means he's doing a huge amount of adjusting, as opposed to finding comps that are very close that he needs to do little amount of adjusting for. And so a gross change of 71% is a really big change. Now maybe the net 2.2, but the gross means he goes way up and comes way down. So he's doing a lot of moving with numbers, and that's statistically not, I don't believe that's a very good thing to see on an appraisal. It should be 25% or less when you're done. There's other comps on Bronson Road, so that's why I have a hard time when he's going over to Mill Hill and Carriage when we have other sales on the street. So
I would agree with that last comment of yours. It's, a Bronson versus a Mill Hill. But I also want to point out that I believe that 875 was also appealed. It was represented by Greg Lane. And I believe we went up, it says that it was sold for 735. He did the time adjustment in that appeal for that. And I can't remember. I'd have to look up what we agreed to. I think we gave them the asking price for the appeal. But in this one here, in comparison, he's knocking it down 121,000.
Right.
And so that just doesn't sit well with me for some reason.
And also, unqualified sale for whatever reason, again,
Mm-hmm.
and
Qualified don't make a difference to us. Why do we have to keep talking about that?
well, I think it does make a difference. If it's knocking the sale price down, if it's not knocking the sale price down, and that's what he's making his adjustments off of, then that's an artificially adjusted price then.
And we would know that more than he would. So I guess you're absolutely right about that. Whatever. I see we're doing it again with appraisals. I have no more to say about it. There's nothing more.
It's a 2,100 square foot house, and he's comping two 4,000 square foot houses. That doesn't make any sense to me.
But it makes sense to him. Well, it doesn't have to make sense to us. It makes sense to him. He did what he needed to do.
I kind of disagree. I think it needs to make sense to me, or he has to explain why he did it, why he took such huge houses.
This is Harold. I think we need to focus on the topic, and I think that you know, if we were just going on appraisals, then we wouldn't need a Board of Assessment Appeals. People could just submit appraisals and leave us be and deal with it that way. But we have to look at all the factors, and the calculations appear to be misleading. So I would like to call a vote on this. I would like to call a vote. All those in favor of granting this appeal to the requested amount, please raise your hand. I have one in favor.
And you have two, Alexis votes in favor.
I have two in favor. All those opposed, please raise your hand. 4 opposed. The vote is 2-4-0. The motion is not carried. The appeal is not granted. Is denied. Okay, Peter, you have another?
Sure.
I'm back.
Okay, this is appeal number 282.
Judy, was that you? You're back?
I'm back. Judy's back.
This is Kathleen. Alexis, what time did you come back? I didn't see you pop in.
I was gone for literally a minute.
Okay, so like 7:17 or something. Okay.
I was there for that one. Yep.
Or you were there for that one. Okay. 7:22 is Judy. Okay.
All right, so appeal number 282, the property address is 1109 Brookside Drive. The owner is Glenn Bemis, and I don't know, I don't see his wife's name there. There's a wife,
Susan.
Susan, thank you. And the appellant was Greg Lane. This one as well, the town's valued this property at $749,600, and they're requesting a value of $525,000. I'd like to make a motion to grant the requested value to $525,000. Do I have a second?
This is John. I'll second.
All right, thanks, John. All right, so you know, I mean, I know you guys. Some people are opposed to hearing the details. I like to have the details. I mean, frankly, I spend a lot of time looking at the details. And again, I kind of agree with that idea that, you know, why would we have this if we're just going to accept appraisals all the time? So, so this is a split level 1957. It was purchased in 2002 for $455,000. It's on a little over an acre of land and about 1,200 square feet, a little less than 1,200 square feet. It did have $125,000 worth of remodeling, at least on the field card, in July of 16. It also has a 0.9 on the property condition of for the topography. Excuse me. So they did mention that Brookside is a busy road. They wanted to mention that. The subject is in a floodplain and has had significant flooding. Most of the property floods, and they feel like it's happening more and more in the last 20 years. So they provide the comps, 130 Ross Hill Road, about a half mile away from the subject. Yeah, smaller piece of property, smaller square footage, actually about the same square footage. That was sold for $615,000 in September of 20. It's been adjusted to $494,000. Okay. The big adjustments had to do with the condition, $100,000 for the condition and location of that property. 305 Alma Drive, which is again about a half mile away. The big adjustments were location, and acreage, adjusted down for location, up for the acreage. This was, I don't know why that would be. I see what it is. All right, and this was sold for 536,000 in July 20, and adjusted to 502,770. 79 Brookside Drive. It was sold for 450 on 12/19, and a little bigger property. No, I'm sorry, smaller property, about same square footage. This does have a adjustment on it for noise, shopping center, and then 1351 Brookside Drive. That was sold for 729 in September of 20, and had adjusted value went down $178,000 in adjusting that value.
And Peter, you heard that one, right? That's one we still have to appeal. That was appealed that we haven't discussed yet. The 1351 Brookside.
This is Kathleen. I think we may have done it last night, Peter. Did we?
Oh, okay.
I think that was at the ranch.
You guys, you're going. Yeah, I don't know how John remembers all this.
No, I don't. I'm just
getting
looking
confused.
at the spreadsheet because
Yeah.
you've got 3 on Brookside Drive right by each other.
Yeah.
They're all near each other, so that's why I saw that. I don't know if you did that last night.
We
since I
did.
wasn't
This
on.
Kathleen, we did it last night because I'm using tonight's sheet and it's off the sheet for tonight. So we
Okay.
did.
Do we
did
know
it
what
last night.
for my
1351.
for my edification? What was the outcome of that appeal?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that. I'm looking it up. Brookside Drive. Let's see. I should just look at the minutes.
They were asking for 705. They bought the house at 729, I think you said, Peter. And it was valued at 805.
We gave them this, Kathleen. We granted it in part to 729.
Okay.
Yeah. And we did 1383 Brookside last night as well. That was another one right on that same area, Brookside Drive.
And
that
what was
at 936? We brought it down to 850. It wasn't a sale, but we did grant that one at 1383, and then we did the other one at Brookside. Oh no, we didn't do. You had one, John, but those are lower numbers.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
So I would just say that the other, just the last piece of information I'll provide, the town's appraised value for the land went up significantly, as did the home. I mean, although the home did have the 125.
Hey everybody, that's our 7-minute timer.
Oh, is that what you
To
got?
keep us on
Judy?
track. Yeah, it's a 7-minute timer.
Thank you.
So are we ready to vote? Okay.
You want to go to 525?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
The requested amount is $525,000. The town's value is $749,600. All those in favor of granting the requested value of $525,000, please raise your hand.
I guess I'm not going to get to ask that question as usual.
Oh, you can ask the question. We haven't finished the vote yet. Yes, Paulette.
Oh, for yes, it's fine with me. Whatever.
I'm sorry?
I said, I'll just, never mind. I don't have to ask it. It doesn't matter. You won't listen anyway. I'll just vote yes for this.
Paulette, you're out of order. You're out of order.
You're all out of order, Harold. How about that? Everyone
You're out of order to say that.
Give me
I'm
God, find
calling,
me.
you raised your hand. You wanted to make a comment. You don't say that I'm not listening to you.
I asked 5 times, Harold. You just keep talking over me. How many times I have to say I'd like to ask a question? If you're having trouble hearing me, let me know and I'll talk louder. That's usually not my problem, though.
Well, all you have to do is raise your hand because I can't see you. So
Okay.
we did not complete the vote and you can ask your question. I can't do more than that.
Okay, well then, thank you. I don't understand where we're going with the vote. I know we have to hurry up, but we didn't even talk about what we're doing with the county. I noticed in the appraisal that he put most of his weight on 1351, which then he netted out to 551 for a comp. So that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking that I don't think that's a bad thing. I kind of like it. It's a bigger house. It's not in the floodplain. His is. So I think that one has the most weight. I agree that that's the best time to do. That's all I want to say.
Okay. And the land value to that house is similar to the subject house, is that correct?
I'm thinking so. I gotta look back. They're both
Okay.
the same size pieces of property.
Yeah, the
Okay.
land value for that is, is fairly identical.
Okay, yeah, I did notice that too. Okay, so I'd like to call a vote. All those in favor of granting the requested value of $525,000, please raise your hand.
I vote in favor.
I have 3 in favor. All those opposed, please raise your hand.
Alexis voted in favor too. Just want to make sure.
I'm sorry, Alexis, you vote in favor?
Yes, please. Yep.
All right, thank you. So the vote is 5 in favor, opposed?
Is that right, Harold?
No.
There's 30 people
Sorry.
on this call.
I might have voted twice because I thought we were already going on to
Yes,
the,
I'm going to do this again. All those voting in favor, please raise their hand or speak up.
Yes.
1, 2, and Alexis? Yes,
Yes.
okay. 3 in favor, opposed, please raise your hand. 4 opposed. The motion does not carry. The appeal is not granted, is denied.
Mr.
We have
Chairman,
I'm sorry?
I just had to ask a question before we continued. But sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead, yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to raise this point. This has been bothering me since I received this letter. There's been some charges here that there appear to be conflicts of interest with board members. And these are very serious charges that really make me just uncomfortable. And I think most of us come to this board with very good intentions and with fair intentions. And it was said that the people have conflicts without stating them. Those are very serious charges, and that really upsets me.
I'm going to call a point of order because it's not pertinent to.
It is absolutely pertinent, sir, because this was brought up. This was emailed to us by Peter Rupert, who said that we have conflicts of interest.
Well, that is a topic that we would need to add to the agenda at another time. It is not pertinent to the appeals that we are listening to now. So
it bothers me, and I quite frankly, I don't really think I can really sit on this board if people are assuming others have conflicts of interest.
I think we can do is vote on adding this as an agenda item for discussion. These are special meetings, and we need to schedule it. And I believe that that's the correct procedure. Kathleen, could you advise me on that?
This is Kathleen. As far as I know, because we're into special meetings now in April, because we only noticed our March meetings back in December and January, before January 31st, all our meetings are special meetings. So if we want to have like an organized conversation on this, I think to stay not in violation of, FOIA and all of that, to put this item on the agenda, I think we need to add it to an agenda, and I need at least 24 hours notice to do that. So I could add it, I can't add it tomorrow. I could add it on Thursday's agenda or Monday's agenda. If we want to have an organized, a discussion about it, which if everyone feels that that's appropriate, we certainly can do it. I just would caution us to, we can't vote and add it as an item. And the question becomes, is it appropriate to be having these discussions when all that's on our agenda is to vote on, to deliberate and vote on appeals before us?
Right. Well, I didn't send the email, and I think these charges are worthy of discussion since someone levied them against their fellow board members. So
this is Kathleen.
I think it's a very appropriate discussion to have.
And I agree. I don't think we can do it because it's a special meeting. If we want to have an organized discussion about it, which is certainly a legitimate request. We just have to get it on an agenda. That's all. So I can do it on Thursday night, or I could do it on Monday. I can't. Tomorrow night's too late. It's less than 24 hours away.
I would like to make a motion that
Wait.
we schedule a part of a special meeting. We add to our agenda on a special meeting and in a at the earliest possible date, discussion of the letters that were sent by Peter, and I would include in that other letters that were sent to the board as well. And I will ask for a vote. I make that motion.
So Harold, that again, that's not an item that's before us, and we can't vote on it, but I think you can make a recommendation as the chair, and I can add it to the agenda in the future, and I wouldn't take a vote on it just because it's not
You don't need to vote on it. You just add it to the agenda.
You just ask the chair, and you as chair can set the agenda, so you have that authority.
I will defer to your understanding of Robert's rules. So I will make the request that we add to the agenda at the earliest possible opportunity, a discussion of the letter that was submitted by letters that were submitted by board members.
Okay, do you want to do that on Thursday or Monday?
Yeah, I'm not available on Thursday, so.
And Alexis, are you available on Thursday?
I'm available on Thursday. I can come on Thursday.
Yeah,
and I
but
can come on
Peter's not going to be here,
But I don't think we'll have the appropriate individuals that you're referencing. So I think we'll have to wait till Monday.
Peter,
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. I just think these are very serious charges. It's upsetting to me. Okay. We all dedicate a lot of time to this board, and I just really find it's a conversation that we need to have absolutely as soon as possible.
And that's why we will add it to the agenda, and everyone will have an opportunity to participate. Okay.
I think it should also be put back to the town attorney, which I'm happy to do, because again, these are accusations of conflicts of interest and siding with different people, and it's probably worth raising it to a town attorney who can help advise us on.
We will cover that. We will cover that at that time, and not take away from the agenda that we have scheduled for today.
Okay, very good.
Thank you. I'm going to step away. I'm going to hand over the chair for 15 minutes, and I will be back shortly.
who are you handing the chair to?
I will hand it to Peter because he is the co-chair.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to take one more 5-minute break, so I'll miss this next one and I'll be back, and I apologize.
Who's going to give us the,
I'm still going to have a
7-minute?
forum, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Alexis, are you ready to present your appeals?
I have one more appeal, Peter.
Okay.
I can do that. Yep, it's number 609.
Thank you.
It's 78 Cynthia Drive. Let me just give me a second to pull it up, please. I lost my spreadsheet. Oh, I'm sorry, I do have it. Sorry. Okay. So the town valued this property at $475,200, and Helen wants to break down to just by $15,000 to $450,000. So
I'm sorry.
make a motion.
I'm sorry, Alexis. Can you just tell me what the appeal number is again?
Oh, yep, it's 609. It looks like.
Actually, I think it's number 9.
9.
Oh, number 9. I can't read. It looks kind of.
Yeah,
It's a little blurry here.
I can see that. Yep.
Thank you. Okay. So, all right, I'd like to make a motion to bring the property down of 75 Cynthia Drive to $450,000.
I'll second it. It's John.
Great, thanks, John. Yeah, it's only $15,000. He's really not asking for a whole lot here. just going through the notes, which are handwritten, gotta love it. He looked at, similar, his house is a split level home, by the way. And he looked at other split levels on his street, and he found them to be, less than his. Just looking at this has been a while since I did this one. So I think he's noting that there are some discrepancies between some of the assessments on his street versus his house. He disagrees with it. He's hoping we can come down. He's an elderly gentleman. He hasn't had any upgrades in the last 30 years. Same kitchen, same bathroom. I think it's a fairly reasonable request given those factors.
This is Paulette. Normally, I would always agree with that, but I just happen to know that this house sold. It was under deposit earlier in the year, and it just closed. So sale price was $480,000.
Are you saying this house sold?
Yeah, it sold. It sold on 4/9/21.
Oh, well, he didn't say that it was on the market.
I'm sure he didn't. So yeah.
But so
Yeah.
he was appealing for 4/9/21. Sorry, never mind. And when did it go under deposit?
I'm sorry, it went. Let me see. I can tell you when it went on deposit. Let's see. Okay, so he had it on the market. Put it on the market in January of 2021. Went under deposit on February 2021, and it just closed in April of 2021. So it is outside the evaluation period, but
yeah, I understand that, but I guess let me just see when was his date?
This appeal?
Yeah. I'm just I guess we're just to be completely transparent here. I'm trying to figure out, was he appealing this before or after it went under deposit?
Yeah, I mean, I had the hearing. I think it was sometime in March. It wasn't before after that date, after the 4/9.
Yeah, but if he was appealing while it was under deposit.
Yeah, well, he didn't reveal that to me, so I don't really know.
Yeah. And you said when it was February that it went under deposit?
yes, the date of deposit was 2/2/21.
Yeah. But this
Just
is
like
Kathy.
Go ahead.
What's his argument is just that, his neighbors have a different price than him, not that the market supports his dollars, right? I mean, the document's pretty clear. He says, how come my neighbor's at this and it's the neighbor argument, not the sales argument. And he had it on the market for more than he was asking for. So, I mean, he also doesn't own it anymore. So, I'm tempted to, I don't know.
Again, if that's the case, then I recommend that we deny it.
I'm ready to vote.
So, all right. All those in favor of granting the appellant's appeal to $450,000, raise your hand. All those opposed?
Alexis is opposed.
Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's unanimous. The appeal is not granted.
Thank you.
All right,
Then Kathleen, I think for the rest of mine, I think I just have the beach area left, right?
This is Kathleen. Yeah, you get to celebrate. You're done with everything except for the beach. So, well, you've got, actually, do you have that? I think you have one that we were still waiting on Berwick.
Berwick, yes. Yeah, I could follow up with Ross on that. Okay.
Yeah, but other than that, yeah, you're good. So,
All right.
very exciting. Of course, you have the most in the beach of anybody, but I know you have some work to do, but we're good. We're good.
All right.
Yeah, this is Ross. What were you waiting on me for?
No, I wasn't waiting. I am actually late in getting to you, Ross. It's on me, on Berwick Avenue.
Oh, okay. I thought, because I took care of all the docs that were missing. I checked all those files, so
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that gentleman, this is Kathleen, has the Oyster Road one that John has as well. It's the same gentleman. same,
John
question
Sullivan.
about adjusting the land down, adjusting the house up. And actually, we did get an answer from Emmeline in zoning, maybe Paulette did as well, as to how, the town does and doesn't value, take into consideration, the 49% rule. So we probably need to share that with everybody, and then maybe we can get those other two done, before too long. So, although John, you're waiting for a map from him, right? He was going to give you.
I am waiting for a survey map on it.
Okay.
But I
Right.
do know that Alexis, I don't know what Mr. Sullivan told you, but in a follow-up conversation I had with him requesting that he drop off that map to Ross's office is that while one of the things that he stated was we're correct with that 50 or that 49% rule. And that I think, Paulette, you had mentioned something about there are different things that can be done. It doesn't have to be the tax assessment for the values. It could be an appraisal. It can be, other references. What he told me is that while it could be, other non-assessment, that they would use the percentage of property to house for that whatever number they used. So if it's a 50-50 like it is almost with his Oyster Road one, they would split it 50-50 between whatever non-tax assessment he used. Does that make sense? Or am I babbling and confusing the matter?
No, this is Kathleen. John, is you talking, who's they? Is that the zoning
Mr.
department?
Sullivan. Mr. Sullivan said to me that while he can use other, because I think Paulette said that they can use other ones, or
I think it
somebody
was me.
said,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that there's other options to use, but regardless, they would take the tax assessor's percentages of house to
Right.
land and apply it to whatever number was used.
Right. And Kathleen, who is they? Is he talking about
They
our
was
zoning
Mr.
department? or FEMA?
No, Mr. Sullivan told me that.
No, but he said they would take it and apply it. Who's the they?
Oh, the people, whoever is judging the 49%.
Which is zoning, I think.
Zoning,
right?
okay.
Yeah. So that's why we want to go to zoning and get some clarification on that answer. So that's
Okay.
Yeah, I have that I have some of it in an email. So, and Paulette asked them as well. So,
Okay.
But we'll, yeah. All right, let's keep going. Peter, how many, what do you have left, Peter?
Is Judy back with us?
What's that?
No,
No, Judy's not back with us.
Yeah, I have three, including that one that we tabled.
Tabled.
All right, so this is appeal number 23, which is 64 Middlebrook Place. The owner the owners are Nisa and Michael Bartolowski, and Nisa Bartolowski was the appellant. The town's valued this property at $664,400, and the appellants are requesting a value of $625,000. I make a motion to grant the requested value to $625,000. Do I have a second?
This is John, I'll second.
All right, thank you, John. All right, so just briefly, this is the 1969 Colonial. It's on a little over half an acre, 2,254 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, about 30% depreciation on the home. They did provide an independent appraisal. This gentleman, felt very confident in his appraiser, that he was successful in 2010 and 2015. So he's come back, and his only argument was that he's going to defer to the expert that he's used before. So I'll just go through those comps. And actually, let me get that up so I can talk about the adjustments here. All right, so this is the first comp was 969 Powderhorn Hill. Let me see here. You know, this was sold for $635 and he adjusted it to $643, $640. I mean, I again, this is just, you know, things that I've noticed. I mean, in this, I mean, he takes, there's a half bath and he takes 15,000 off for a half bath. So I'm just, you know, a little bit, you know, uncertain of why that would be. It just seems like an extraordinary amount for that, but I'm not going to, you know, go there with that argument. On 2120 Mill Plain Road, that was sold for on May of 20 for $549. He's adjusted that up to $626, $725. 81 Taunton Road, he adjusted that to that was sold for $655 in May of 20. He adjusted that to $630,900. Halen Circle sold in 10/20 for $610, and he adjusted it up to $611, $560. 580 Katona Drive sold for $625 in 8/20. He adjusted that up or down to $559, $2,205. 630 Duck Farm Road. This was a 12/20 sale, and that was adjusted to $599, $580. And Taunton Road, 696, sold for $696, adjusted down to $624. And the Elderberry Lane, that was 10/20 sale, and that was $585 and adjusted up to $599, $200. You know, the adjusted sale, the adjusted value, the requested value, the appraised value was the $625. All right, I know this property. I'm pretty certain this property. It's in actually it is it is in you know, it's got some wetland issues, which I didn't see that it's not on the card, but you know, it does show. It does have some maps here showing that.
Yeah, it's at the end of a cul-de-sac, it looks like.
Yeah.
And it goes up against the Mill Creek and like a pond area there. So
Right.
I would assume that there's, let me just do the layer map here for land use. Yeah.
I think he's got, let me see what page that was. He had a map of, let's see here. Well, I don't know. The flood map on page 31. Yeah, so you can see it.
Yeah, he's definitely, his property is definitely looks to be in a flood zone. I just can't tell which one it is. Hold on.
This Kathleen, it's probably the Mill River, you know, like the Mill River Road ones we saw the other day. It's just on the other side on Middlebrook.
AE, yeah, he's in an AE flood zone, and I think part of the property is in the AE floodway. Again, I'm looking at the GIS for the town. Yeah.
All right. So, you know, I'd like to, you know, bring it to a vote. Does anyone need further discussion? Anyone? No? Okay. See none. I'd like to make a motion to grant the appraised value to the requested value of $625,000. All those in favor, raise your hand. Okay, seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. Alexis?
I vote in favor, yes.
All right, 5. All those opposed? All right. Seeing 1, Kathleen. And Harold, I'm assuming you're abstaining.
I'm back and I'm abstaining because I did not hear the discussion.
Okay, so that was 5 in favor, 1 opposed, Kathleen, and 1 abstention, Harold. All right.
Congratulations, Peter. We made it in 7 minutes. You did it. You did it. All right. All right. Let's keep that rolling.
Yeah, so this is Kathleen. I mean, this is his third time back. So I would just say, Ross, if he's, if he's got all those wetlands, like all those properties back there, then maybe if we give him a little bit of a land adjustment to bring him down in that respect to a 9.5 or something, maybe he won't need to get an appraisal every time and come back. Because either he has a consistent problem, right, that's keeping him a little bit higher than everybody else. So that's just a recommendation.
That's what I try to do.
Thank you.
All right, Harold, I'm going to let you have the reins back for the chairing, but I'm going to do another appeal here.
Very good. I'm back. Back in the chair.
Back in the saddle again.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Appeal 84. It's 114 Middlebrook Drive. The owner is Christopher Joyce, and I'm sorry, his wife. I don't. Let's see. Oh, Karen Louis Joyce, and the appellant was Christopher Joyce. And the town's valued this property at $721,500, and they've requested a value of $675,000. I make a motion to grant the requested value of $675,000. Do I have a second?
This is Harold. I'll second.
Thanks, Harold. Okay, so this is a 1943 colonial, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. It's on about 1/4 acre with 2,584 square feet. It was sold for $719,000. It was purchased for $719,000 back in 2013. They have about a 15% depreciation code on there with a 6 on there. So, all right. Their argument, they were arguing that the COVID, obviously the COVID demand was high, record levels, mentioned Wall Street, and stuff like that. So they provide some comps. I'll go through those. They got to the 675. Just to tell you how they got to the 675. They felt that the condition was good. The market. Conditioned by previous owners. Okay, let me go through the comps here. All right, so 1406 Brookside Drive. That was sale was 11/19. It was a short sale for $612,000. That has a barn, an in-ground pool, enclosed porch, finished enclosed porch. That also has 3.5 acres plus land, 2,239 square feet. It does have an adjustment for the excess land over the 2 acres, and about 45% depreciation. The North Benson is a colonial that was sold for $590 on I think it was probably like 11. It was either 11/12 or 10/1/19. I forget. I don't know why there's 2 different numbers there, but anyway, that's about the same acreage, a little bigger square footage, right? A little bit bigger square footage, and that has a 0.9 for the topography, about 19%, or I'm sorry, what is that? 21% for depreciation. The 163 Springer Road,
I'm gonna stop you right there, Peter,
Okay.
because that house was a complete rehab at that time. Okay, so I would just personally, I just throw that comp right out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Judy, when you
This is
said it was a
Kathleen.
complete rehab, it was before they bought it or after they bought it?
No, that 460 was a complete rehab. Complete
Okay.
rehab. It was resold over 800. I don't remember the price. I showed it when it was completely rehab. So that one needed an awful lot of work. It's not a good comparable.
Yeah, this is Kathleen. His other two comps are on busy streets. I mean, I'm just sort of looking at it. He doesn't have the wetlands in the back, and he paid 713 and 13. He put $200,000 into it. He pulled a permit for $200,000. So I just have a really hard time, and he's at 721. Try to take him to 675 if he's got a building permit, for a 2-story garage master bedroom in 2011 for $200,000. To take them down to 6, into the 6s. And those 2 comps that you listed here, those are on busy streets. Middlebrook is a quiet street. So I would not say that those other 2 comps are good comps. And I was going to wait till you were done, but then Judy said that about the other comps. So, I wouldn't pick 1400 North Benson as a comp to Middlebrook Drive or 1406 Brookside. That's a really old antique house. So I'm not seeing it so far. So unless there's something else in here that's pretty obvious.
The 2-story garage was done in 2011.
Yeah, but it's $200,000 addition. So he obviously, added some value to a house that he paid $721 for. And he's asking to go down into the 6s, right?
No, he didn't. No, that was he bought the house in June of 2013.
Oh, so he bought it after the addition.
Story
I apologize.
He didn't pay. Did he pay 7 something for that?
Yeah.
He paid $719 and 13. Yep, I'm sorry. I thought it was after. I know it's still a nice house to go down to 675. I don't know. And not with those, I don't like those comps.
This is Harold. Any further discussion, or I'll call a vote? All those in favor of granting this appeal to the requested market value of $675,000, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand.
I vote, Alexis votes yes.
All right, it's unanimous.
Wait, you sure?
No, she voted yes. I don't think it's unanimous.
I'm sorry. Did I come back at a wrong time?
No, I would call this Kathleen. I would call the vote again because I don't know if you saw Alexis's hand.
Okay. All those in favor of granting this appeal to the value of $675,000, please raise your hand.
Or say yes.
And Alexis?
Yes, thank you.
Actually, I'm going to change my vote.
And your vote is?
It's going to be no. I'm changing it.
Okay. All those opposed, please raise your hand. And with Alexis's vote, that's a no. So the vote.
What about Paulette?
I didn't see Paulette's hand.
I saw it.
Oh, it's a no. It's a no.
I saw Paulette's hand. Yes, I saw it. So the vote is 0-7-0. The appeal is denied.
Another 7-minute one bites the dust.
Judy is Harold. I think if you look back, you'll see that the majority of our votes have been very heavily one way or the other. We've had very few close votes.
So, no, she meant how 7-minute timer, like we did it in 7 minutes, right? I think that's what she was saying.
That's right. That's what I meant.
We started
I'm
at
not
7:57.
rushing anybody. What I'm just trying to do is get everybody together. I was really good when the other gal gave us a 7-minute timer because it keeps us in check a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
I think this, Kathleen, I think if you know what you're gonna do early on, you know, and
yeah.
it goes, and some of them, some take a long time and some don't, so it goes
This-
back and forth. Yeah. Peter, do
This
you have
is-
one on the table? You want to take off that one off the table?
Yeah, sure. So,
Okay, so on that one, just to let you know, according to my little Robert's rules cheat sheet here, to take from the table, we need to vote on it.
Okay.
To take it back up from the table.
Did you laminate that too, John?
No, I didn't. And this is actually what my wife gave me. She printed it out for me and gave it to me. So
She's sweet. That's nice.
And this is how, and your wife is a board member in the town of Fairfield on one
yeah,
of the.
she's on the RTM. So
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so we need to vote to bring it back on the table, is that what you're saying?
yep, we just need a majority vote.
Okay, and this was appeal number
545, 1200 Bronson Road.
Okay, all those in favor of bringing this appeal number 545 back to the table, raise your hand. Alexis, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Okay, it's unanimous. 7 in favor. So Peter, we're bringing appeal number 545 back to the table for discussion and voting.
Okay. So, you know, this was the flag, wasn't it the flag, property? Oh, yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah. 3,000 square foot home on about 0.8, a little more than 0.8 acres. You know, I mean, I just think the 460 sounds, far too low for this. Understand, Judy's argument about the privacy with the other lots, being a rear lot and then other lots, back there with it. But it does have, some privacy in the back of that land. So I don't really think I have anything further to add.
This is Harold. Again, I'd like to point out that the previous evaluation had the assessed value at $658,200, and there's a significant increase to the town's current value. And so I think that I had suggested that perhaps looking at a figure that was in the upper 600,000s or low sevens would be more appropriate for this property. And I don't know if any takers on that suggestion.
Let's see.
I'd work with that.
Yeah,
I'd work with that, Judy.
You'd vote for a change, okay?
I'd vote for a change.
We'd have to come up with a number. Do we feel that it's appropriate to have some increase over the prior valuation of this property? Would you support a figure of, let's say, 695,000?
No.
Like maybe 640.
Well, that would be less than the previous valuation. I think that
What was the previous valuation?
658,200, and I feel that
Just keep it at that. That was the previous number.
I wouldn't support that. I
don't
think
feel that
there's some,
there's an increase that is due to the fact that other properties in the neighborhood have value as well. Yes, Paulette.
I understand what people are thinking. My thought is, I look at it this way. The reason I say that it could still be less than what it was before is because he didn't appeal. If he appealed it before, I didn't look that he did. If he didn't appeal it, we really don't know if that was right. When we're talking about something that's sold or an appraisal that came in or something, we have other evidence. We're trying to come up with a number, but we don't know if that last one was correct. What if it's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 off? So we're raising it again and it's still wrong. So I don't have an issue with going below that because we're not really positive if that was a correct value.
So I can tell you that, Paulette, that based on the field card, there was no, in the last reval period, there was no appeal to the BAA. There was one
Okay.
in 2006, which was, I guess the owner still owned it. At that point, there was no change. In 2006 and 2002, again, the owner had it. There was a change. So, I mean, you got to go back pretty far for some kind of BAA intervention.
I'm looking at the field card.
In the endeavor, in the sense to try to come to some conclusion on this, I will make a motion to amend this appeal to the previous value of $658,200. All those in favor, please raise your hand. In favor of the amended value of $658,200.
Alexis votes in favor.
Alexis, you vote in favor?
Yeah.
Okay. I have, yes, Kathleen?
You need a second for that motion.
I'm sorry.
I was seconding. How's that?
Judy seconds it. And now the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, and Alexis?
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, please raise your hand. 4 opposed. The amended motion does not carry. The vote is 3 in favor, 4 opposed. Now to go to the original motion to grant this appeal in the amount of $460,000. The requested value. All those in favor, please raise your hand. I have 1 in favor.
Make that 2 in favor.
Alexis votes in favor. That's 2 in favor. Judy
3.
votes in favor. 3. All those opposed, please raise your hand. 4 opposed. The motion does not carry. It is denied. The vote is 3 in favor, 4 opposed. Yes, Kathleen. Did you need clarification? You're muted.
Yep. I just want to make sure I've got the minutes right here. So Harold, you made the motion to amend it to 658,200. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And Judy seconded it. Okay.
That's
And
correct.
then, yep, Judy seconded. Hold on. Let's see. Judy, where's Judy? Okay. And then that failed, right? That motion failed. So who voted for it?
Me.
I think I did. Oh, excuse me. Who voted for it was Judy, Paulette, and Alexis.
Voted for the, okay, for the amendment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the same vote when it failed, when it, so that, okay, I got it.
Okay, thank you. All right, Peter, were there any others on your list? Well, I might have missed 1 or 2 while I was on break.
Nope, I'm out.
All right, good. So,
Judy, does that one go in the 7-minute pile?
It did. It did.
Well, wait a minute. Did you include the first part?
No,
Before we
no,
take-
no, no. It was, no, I did not.
excuse me, so Peter, you did do appeal number 23?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yep. This is Kathleen. John, you have that one left on Bronson Road. Are you ready
I
to?
do. I can
Okay.
do this.
How about we do that one?
Okay. I want to get in on the fun in action here.
Yeah.
All right. This is appeal number 44. The property address is 2025 Bronson Road. The owner and The owners are Carla and Edward Sheehan. The appellant is Ed Sheehan. The town has the value at $995,500, and I'd like to make a motion to grant the requested value of the appellant to bring the fair market value of the town down to $805,000.
This is Harold. I'll second.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I guess he felt he was in the lower Greenfield Hill neighborhood, which is a different neighborhood code than the Mill Hill one. So he said that Greenfield Hill went down 13.7% in general, but his property went up 15%. He did appeal in 2010 and 2015. So on page 2 of the file here, you'll see where he's talking about the lower Greenfield Hill going down 13.7%. So then, and as again I mentioned, that with the 15, he did put in and appealed to the BAA. So he actually used the same comps from his 15 appeal for the 2020 appeal, and pointed out that the average went down 11%, and his ask is a 7% decrease of the appraisal. A third of his property, he says, is wetlands. A stream runs through it. There is a 10% reduction on the property card. You will see that on page 8 for the stream that runs through. He was struggling to understand the usage of the 1019 to 1020 when we have pandemic prices going on with sales in there. He said he was going to send more recent sales, and I believe, did he do that? Let me just see here. March 5th. Okay, so that was just that. I don't think he sent in anything else as far as recent sales went, unless, nope. So if you look on, page 16, the last page, you could see all the sales dates were in 2015. So there were no real recent sales dates he compared himself to in this file.
Okay, let's see.
Any comments? Any questions?
This is Paulette. Again, I'm questioning that land thing. So he's in neighborhood 70, right? That's what it says on his
Correct.
field card. And that neighborhood is what? Lower Greenfield Hill or Mill Hill?
No, that's Mill Hill.
But that shouldn't be.
He thought he should be, he thought he was in the lower Greenfield.
And he is.
So,
He is in the lower
okay,
Greenfield
well,
neighborhood.
with the way that everything has been divvied up, and the things, maybe he's on the border. I'm not sure. I don't know where the cutoff was between Mill Hill and Greenfield.
The thing is that his location, I can understand, although I don't agree with it, but I can understand the justification that people will use that part of Bronson Road touches Mill Hill, and so it should be Mill Hill. His house is way down, almost at Reading Road. So where Reading and Bronson intersect. That is not the right spot. That is not the right neighborhood for that spot. So and if it makes a difference in the land values, then it's really not right.
Actually,
Would it be helpful to get a map, if it exists, to see what the cutoff point is?
Where the cutoff point is?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we can see that, but I'm still going to say the same thing. I understand where it might be, but I don't believe it's appropriate. And I think he has a point and makes a case that if he's in the Mill Hill neighborhood and that land value is more, then it's not right. He's not in the Mill Hill neighborhood. Remember, these neighborhoods are created. I'm not fighting. I'm not yelling. These neighborhoods are created. They're not real.
I have the
It-
ability to see what the neighborhood code is in
The
a,
neighborhood, Lower Greenfield,
yes,
that I believe that's neighborhood code 58.
okay.
And
And-
if that is the case, I can double check. But if that's the case, there's a substantial neighborhood difference between Greenfield, that 58 and 70.
Well, this neighborhood adjustment is 1.7. If we
Yeah.
look for a home in neighborhood,
In
50.
neighborhood 58, okay. I'm looking at 75 Reading Road. I'm assuming that based on that field card that would be the Greenfield Hill one. The neighborhood adjustment is 0.85.
Yeah,
So it's almost one half the adjustment, or half of what Mill Hill is for the adjustment of land. But it could also be, zoning. I mean, like this one on Greenfield that I'm looking at is a AAA zone, and the appellant is a AA zone.
this is Kathleen. I think the cutoff line is Hill Farm Road and White's Lane because the house that's like
Right on the corner there.
it's on
Yeah,
the
he's
corner.
he's on
on the
that
corner
corner.
there.
Right. If
He's
you
right
look at
there.
the house on the north side of White's Hill Lane, that is in neighborhood 55, which is a 1.05 adjustment. So the house next to him, like I said, at 50 White's Lane, it's actually on White's Lane, but that's considered neighborhood code 55, and that's a 1.05. So it's not quite as low as the Bronson Road ones, but that's probably why, because the cutoff line is probably Hill Farm Road and south. So those ones that are pretty close to the to the little triangle there in Bronson, those are still considered Mill Hill.
7 minutes, guys.
But they shouldn't be, Kathleen, because that is so, I mean, look what's around you. There's no
Yeah.
way that should be in that neighborhood. It's too far out. That
Yeah, look
line
at
needs
the
to
other
be
ones
moved
on
back.
White's Hill Lane. Give me a second. So the other, this is Kathleen, the other choices, we could figure out what he would be at a add a neighborhood code 55 and adjust his land to get him there. That's the other choice.
Okay.
And see if that's appropriate. The problem is he's got 2015 sales data. So
I don't
yeah,
even care
all
about
White's
that.
Lane is 55. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at that. I'm just looking at the land because I'm just looking at the land and that neighborhood. That just isn't right.
Yeah, his next door neighbor on White's Hill, yeah, as you said, is neighborhood code 55. This is on 55 White's Hill Lane, which is right next door to this guy. And
Yeah.
again, neighborhood adjustment 1.05 versus a 1.7.
Mhm.
Just basically because of, my guess is where the front door faces or where the town has
Yeah, that's
the.
This is
Where
Kathy.
would the change bring his assessment to?
Well,
Where would
this is
that-
Kathleen, we could have Ross calculate his land at the 55 rate, which is 1.05, and then don't change his neighborhood code, but bring his, give him a land adjustment of some sort. I don't
and
know.
this is 1.450 acres, so 63,162. And Ross, if you're there, can you do that calculation based upon a neighborhood adjustment of 1.05?
Yep, this is Ross. It brings it to 768,400.
Which
The
would be
entire
below
property.
yeah.
The entire,
Okay.
right, the total value would drop to 768,400.
Which is a lot lower than, which is like 40,000 more than what he's requesting. I mean, or less than what he's requesting. He's requesting
That is-
805.
Is this also changing other factors such as the AAA to AA and the,
No, they both have the 55 White's Hill Lane, that has which is his neighbor, has a AA zone, which is in this neighborhood 55 with the neighborhood adjustment of 1.05.
oh, the other thing I'm thinking about is there's always somebody that's going to be on the border. And so even if we push this theoretically over the border into the lower neighborhood adjustment area, what will that do to other bordering properties? So maybe we just do an override and come up with a number.
Well, this is Kathleen. You used the 2015 sales data, so that didn't help us. I mean, I kind of go back to that ranch, right? I know it's further down Bronson, but it's not that much further down Bronson. That was at 740 something. So I don't think he should be at 768. I think that's.
But if he's,
Why
but
don't
his
we just give
neighborhood,
him his 805?
This is Kathleen, only because he didn't, he used 2015 sales data and John asked.
I realize that, but we also have a neighborhood problem there, and we kind of addressed that. And if we did address it, on the card and all of that, it would have come out less. So in that
If
case,
he was-
I'm okay with the 805.
if he was put in the proper neighborhood, his value would have been less than what he's requesting, but he probably wouldn't have brought an appeal because his land value would have been more appropriate to the neighborhood. So even though he's asking for 805, we're saying we don't want to go to 7 something. Well, that's actually what it should be. That's what the town's value should be. That's not what he would have requested. He probably would have left it alone. So if we're not going to get to 740 because people can't deal with that, I'm okay with 805. But that line is in the wrong place. It needs to come way back. He's sitting in Greenfield Hill.
This is Harold. I agree with those statements. I just think that making the calculations based upon that assumption does not take into consideration any other sales that are made in the proximity to this home.
Mhm.
And we're not considering that. But if we don't want to discuss this further, we can bring it to a vote. Do we know of any other sales that are in the area to compare this to?
This is Kathleen. I'm sure there's some on Hill Farm, which is kind of just east of there, right? I would, Bronson's a little busier, but I would go over that way. He does have 1.4 acres, got a large piece of land. So,
But not for that neighborhood, he doesn't. Most of those are 2 acres.
yeah, once you get up into Greenfield Hill, right? But I was looking, if you want to start going down the road of looking for other sales, that's probably, I would tend to look over if Hill Farm's even in that. Yeah, Hill Farm is in that neighborhood.
Well,
And Hill
okay,
Farm,
so
Hill
there
Farm is
was
2 acres
one.
only.
I've got a couple. I got a couple for you. And what I did is I searched the MLS with a half-mile radius. Okay, so anything that I tell you is a half-mile radius. There is 471 Hill Farm at 735. There's 40 Hillside Road at 725. There is 435 Cedar at 875. There's 2120 Bronson at 782.
What was
Okay.
that number, Judy?
2120 Bronson at 782,000. That's October 24th. So, I mean, he really is right in line. I'm okay with it, and he's not aiming in the right area. And I realize that he didn't submit proper comparables, but we've got the information right there, and I'm comfortable with the 805. I think if he was put in the right neighborhood, he would have been less, and then this is actually a bonus for the town. So,
All right. I think good arguments were made. All those in favor of granting this appeal to the requested amount of $805,000, please raise your hand.
Alexis votes in favor.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in favor. Opposed? 3 opposed. The motion is granted. The appeal is granted in the amount of $805,000.
Kathleen, Harold, can you tell me who is opposed?
I was opposed, Peter was opposed, and Kathleen was opposed.
Thank you.
Okay. I wish he had come up with better comps, and I don't, although we tried, I don't think we are necessarily obliged to find comps for appellants. Although we do try, and we do try to understand the issues and judge accordingly. Okay, thank you, John, for that. And let's see, you had one more on Oyster Road. Is that out of the area? Is that something that you're prepared to discuss?
Not with the tourney at the moment. That's a
Okay.
96 tourney one.
Yeah, that turning one, I was gonna ask you about that. That's in red, John.
That's a what?
That's in red.
Yes,
one
I
on
know. I'm
Kearney.
in red.
Yeah, this is the one we're trying to figure out the FEMA thing, and he's bringing in a plan. So that's this is
Oh,
Kathleen.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's why we're waiting on those two. We'll probably do the two of them together and give him a little more time to get his, right? Did he tell you he was going to bring it in, John?
He said he would.
Okay, give him a little more time, but obviously not into May. So,
Yeah.
In this
okay.
last half hour, can I ask if, Alexis, would you like to do your last two on the sheet?
Which one? I thought I just had the beach area left.
No, I think there's on Mill Hill, there's number 9.
No, she
I think I
did that while you
that
were
one.
gone.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she's good. She's done with Mill Hill and she's done with the university. She got those two done tonight. So it's me and Mill Hill, or if Judy wants to do her condos, I think she's got 2 condos.
I have one condo that, I didn't prepare a condo for tonight, but there's only that one condo. He had a really good argument, and if I can look at it quickly, and I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it 492, the Southport Woods condo?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I have some Mill Hill too that I haven't looked at in a few days, but I can probably do a couple Mill Hills too if you want me to keep going.
Let's make the best use of the time we have remaining.
Well, I don't see mine in the Mill Hill and under condos. Wait a
Go
minute.
into the CN tab, Judy. Go over on the
Okay,
bottom.
hold on.
Yeah,
Oh, Southport Woods. Okay.
right. And you have our one in South Pine Creek on Hurd Street. Those are your 2 condos. And then you're done with condos too. Catherine has some condos, but
Yeah, what I remember him very specifically had a very, very good argument. So, just a moment. And I will locate it in my folder here. And for the record, it is number 492, appeal number 492. Okay, everybody? Yeah, I wrote in my notes, absolutely encircled it. Okay. This is, I'd like to call for, this is appeal number 492. Property owner's name is Matthew Kabasic and Janet Sherwood. Property address is 152 Southport Woods Drive in Southport. The town's value is 424.3. The appellant's opinion of fair market value is 377.3. And I make a motion to grant the 377,300. I have a second?
I'll second. It's John.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Problem.
This is just really, really interesting. Please look at page 2 on this report. There is just absolutely no reason why every single unit in that building, look at that, from 130, they're all assessed at 264,110. And all of a sudden, he gets an assessment of 307,650. So, you know, it just, and he went off the assessment, remember, not the appraisal. So, you know, he always is looking for what everybody else has. There's no reason that his unit is just amazingly that much better than everybody else's. That's it. And I know you don't like to go off other assessments, Kathleen. I know you don't like to do that, but these are condos. They're condos.
Yeah. So I hear you, Judy, when it's a little different when you have properties, but than condos. But Ross, why would he, any reason why he would be so much higher than all of the other 3-bedroom, 2 baths? Is it the condition? Like, what's driving that?
This is Ross. I wish I had this ahead of time to look at. I could have explained what's causing it. And I'm going to try to see if I can figure that out.
What number is he? 152? He's got some of the cards in there, so.
Yeah.
Got the same grade, same condition.
He has his
depreciation
1,500
code.
square feet. What's that, John?
Ross, I think it might be depreciation code because he's at a 5.
Oh, yeah. Yep, you're right. I missed that.
And everybody else is at a 3, I think it is.
Yep. Let's see. If I make him a 3, he goes to 377.9 on the value, and I can't see the assessment on my screen.
Well, I could
So
do the math.
everybody else is
500.
at 377.3
Yeah, so
for
he
the
was
appraisal.
taking him to a depreciation code 3, takes him to 377.9.
And does that give you, with the depreciation code of 3, does that give a automatic depreciation percent of 36?
Hold on. I got to move this to a bigger screen. Hold on.
Oh.
Yes, 36%.
Okay, so that isn't, okay, so that,
Right. This is Kathleen, but one of those ones he listed in there sold for $412. 146 South Fort Woods Drive sold for $412 on 6/18/2019. I'm not saying he's not where his neighbor is, but that's a year-old sale for $412 in that complex. You know, I'm looking at the cards he included, right?
mm-hmm.
He included number 172, was it 146, which is
At the
146.
very minimum, he should be at the same depreciation code as everybody else.
I would agree with that. Because I don't think there's any permits that would say something else, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Windows in 2000, oh, wait a minute, is that him? Yeah, he replaced Windows in 2015.
Okay.
His newer windows are worth $400 more on his assessment. Why don't we just bring him down to the same depreciation as everybody else?
Yeah, and this Kathleen, I'm scrolling through the sales in there, and I'm seeing what those condos are selling for, and they're selling in the, mid to low 4. Oh, in the 4. There's a 442 in 2018. So I'm not saying, it's one of those things where, why?
But you don't know what that one had, and this one has.
Yeah, they're just all under at least these 3 bedrooms. If that's all the cards, all the 3 bedrooms are probably under appraised. If they're selling in the mid 4s, and we have them at 377. There's another sale, for 442 in 2018. I don't know what else is in the sales data, more recent sales data. Maybe those have gone down in value if there's South Fort Woods sales in the.
Remember, in a
Well,
condo,
here's
it's all
what I
about
think. Let's just say, Kathleen, let's just think this through, right? he's not at the same depreciation as everybody else in the building. Everybody, it's very clear, it's right there. And let's suppose you say, and let's not suppose, you have stated there's a couple of sales, right? There was a sale or two. He didn't bring any of those. He just brought what everybody's assessment was. You deny him, guess what's going to happen? He's going to go to, he'll go to court, and now we're going to have to pay for all of that. And that's going, then it puts the town to having to pay for that, and he's going to get it.
This is Harold. Some of these are 3 bedrooms, some are 2-bedroom units. The 146 Southport Woods, for example, sold in March of 2019 for $412,500.
But you don't know the condition of his as opposed to that one. And this is a second floor unit also, isn't it? I believe this was a second floor unit.
Yeah, this is Kathleen. I'm looking at the sales data too. What I'm pointing out is that they are selling in the floor.
It's first floor. Okay.
Yeah. Here's another 1,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, sold for $447 in January of this year. There's other sales in there. 3-bedroom, 2-bath in early January, 1,500 square feet for $447. Here's another one that sold for $410.
You're gonna hurt this homeowner tremendously. Everything else there is $264, $110. Everything else.
Yeah, that's not my point. Isn't that
I don't care what anything else sold. I'm looking at everything else in that building, everything that he's given us. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. And I can't vote for anything other than what he's got at the 264, 110. He's got a very good argument. They're all condos.
This is Paulette. I'm looking at
everybody else's. Because you put this man at this couple or these homeowners, these taxpayers at a significant disadvantage there.
Well,
and now you're going to make their home worthless because of it.
This is
go ahead.
Oh, this is Paulette. I'm looking at, first of all, just like in a regular home, even more so in a condo complex, the location is key. That you can sell your condo for a lot more depending on where you are in the complex. That's number one. Number two is I'm looking at the sales from May through November of 2020. And yes, there's one for 447, 410, 410. But then there's one for 360, 375, 397, all 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And the ones, and do we know if he has a garage or not?
He does.
Okay, so here's one with a garage. It sold for $360,000. Another one with a garage. Let me see. Where's that garage? Well, over here. Here. $397. So it's not. They're not all in the fours. And again, we don't know what the condition of his is, but he's not asking about that. He just wants to be at the assessed value of other people in that one building, building 6, right?
Is that normally how? And if I may ask Ross a question, when it comes to condos. Is that normally how it is? Is that the buildings are usually the same appraised if they're the same or have the same appraisal number? Like what he's trying to point out here he should be at?
Each one's going to depend. But I quite frankly would agree to move this to a depreciation code of 3.
But can I just, didn't he buy this for $459 in 14? Am I reading the wrong?
Nope,
that's
correct.
I'm going to ask a question, then I'd like to call a vote. By changing the depreciation code, you're still about $600 higher. And we negate that if we agree to approve the appellate's opinion of fair market value, or do we need to make an amendment?
I mean, I would prefer just to see it move to a 3 and not have to do any overrides to get the remaining $600, but that's your call.
No, I think we should do an amendment or whatever and get to that. Because I'm looking, this is Kathleen, I am looking at all those sales in there. There's a lot of sales in
Right.
there.
Now
Some
let's,
of them are 3, some are 4.
let me
So,
make a motion to amend this value to 300 and what was it? $377,900.
$300.
Well, I think it was 900 with.
The reason I'm
Ross
saying
dropping
900 is because then changing the 5 to a 3 will get to that number without any override.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Yes.
So all those in favor of amending the value to $377,900, please raise your hand. Alexis?
I'm in favor.
Okay, it's unanimous, 7 in favor. Now,
did you have a second, Harold? Who seconded?
yeah,
I'll second it.
Judy
Judy
said.
did. Okay, thank you.
Judy, yes. Always there for a second. And a third, fourth. Okay, and then the original motion to.
What was the vote? Sorry, what was the vote on that? amendment?
Unanimous, 7 in favor.
700, okay.
And all in favor of granting to the adjusted or amended value of $377,900, please raise your hand. In favor? Alexis?
In favor.
It's unanimous. The motion is carried. The appeal is granted in part to $377,900.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, Ross. Good.
377,900, right?
Correct.
And he's just gonna change the car, the depreciation code, right?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then we have the one on Hurd Street.
You want me to do that one too?
Go for it, Jude.
Might as well clean the slate.
All right, so let me look at it. Let me see. I may or may not be ready on that one. Just let me look at it. And you know what? I see this one. I remembered I was very passionate about this particular property, and that's why I said okay, I would do it. But this one, I really need to review my notes. Okay, so I'd like to respect the homeowner and just wait on that one and listen to somebody else's. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, well, we do have another 15 minutes or 10 minutes. Can we have somebody do one more?
This is Kathleen. I can, what can I do? I can probably do a couple Mill Hills. If you want me to do, I have 2 on Sherwood Farm Road, number 63 and number 154. I don't know where the papers are. I have to find them, but let me see if I can, my hands on them.
Harold, I see that you have 2 on Sherwood Farms Road.
Right. Yeah. So this is Kathleen. It's been a few days since I've looked at these ones, so I was ready the other day. So one of them has an appraisal, so let's do appeal number 63. And just take the minutes at the same time so I don't forget. Let's see. And the property address is 230 Sherwood Farm Road. The owner of the property is Shana Verderami. The town's value on the property is $1,115,700, and she is requesting a reduction to $975,000. So I make a motion to grant this appeal and reduce the appraised value to $975,000.
I'll second. It's John.
Okay, John seconding. So
It sits on a cemetery.
That's
Yeah,
up to it, I
so-
think.
Yeah, so she, let's see. Yes, she has an appraisal in the file. It's dated May 1st, 2020. It was for a divorce. And the appraisal came in at 975. And that's the amount that she's requesting. It is a rear lot that backs to the cemetery, but if you're familiar with Sherwood Farm Road, you know, this is, well, what is it, just south of Hill Farm Road there, so not too far from where we were before, but all those houses were built about the same time. They have different, you know, slightly different, the land tends to be a little bit different in there on certain properties, but by and large, they're all pretty good comps for each other. So let me call up the appraisal.
And this is a flag, another flag one.
Yes,
Like-
this is a rear lot, and the home in, so let me see if I can find it. What did I say it was? Shayna. We just, it's been, like I said, it's been a minute. Look at the appraisal.
And there's a condition of 0.9 on it, and it just says access. But I'm
Yes,
assuming
because-
it's the same
right.
thing of the.
That's for the rear lot, the access back there, and because it's a rear lot, so it goes in the back. So for her, I just want to.
Oh, hey, Peter. Hey, Peter, it's a flag lot. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. So why am I so confused? Sorry. So she has a couple of comps in her appraisal there, but basically the home in front of her, and so the other property is sort of saying the same thing. The other home in front of her sold for $1 million and closed on April 17th. It's a 3,600 square foot house, so I believe it's smaller than her home. She is at, I'm missing one of my comp sheets here. She's at 3,900 square feet, and that property is 36, but it does have a pool. And, you know, listening to the other neighbor as well, they all felt like that's a very nice lot over there. It's on 1 acre. You know, they're all 4 bedrooms, and you know, 4.5 baths or whatever they have in there. So, you know, while you can look at the Burr Street comp or the Sherwood comps, the other ones that were in the file, I really feel like, you know, the one right in the cul-de-sac is appropriate for that. And she does have
the 224 Sherwood.
Yeah, that's the sale. And both of my Sherwood, you know, appeals are both talking about that sheet. About
They
that,
adjusted, they
that
adjusted
property.
that Sherwood down to 967.33.
Yeah, I thought I had a comp sheet for that one. I can't put my hands on it.
I'm looking at page 8 of the file if anybody is wondering what I'm
Thank you for helping me, John.
Yeah, no problem.
Because I have the comp sheet for the other one. This one has the appeal, and I thought I printed it out. There it is. So, but basically, so I guess, you know, I would look at that adjustment and think, and, you know, and the 975 price, but that was, you know, it was a May appraisal. So whether she should come all the way to 975 or you want to table it, and we can look at the other Sherwood Farm one that's right across the street as well. They're all in the similar price range. You know, whether she should come that low or not, I don't know. You know, with the million sale with a time adjustment, it should probably be, you know, that particular sale would probably be higher than that. I think there's other ones in Sherwood right now that are selling, you know, that are on the market now for a lot higher prices. So
This is Paulette. You know, while the prices might be better now on that street, the fact that she has that cemetery behind her and she's on a back lot, although people think it affords privacy, and it does, but it's not that desirable to buyers, the back lot, plus the cemetery. I have no problem with a value of $975 for someone who sits on something that's that objectionable to more than half of the buyers out there. So while other buyers or other houses are growing up in value and people are in bidding wars, I don't think we would see that on this property. There's a lot of cultures that won't accept it. There's a lot of people just creeped out by it. So that cemetery is a big problem as far as I'm concerned when I take people out. They won't even go in. If they look at the map, they'll cancel that showing. I've never had someone say to me, I've never had somebody say, oh, I'd love to live there. It's nice and quiet behind there. Not one has ever said that. So I think her value of 975. Yeah, I think 975 is an okay
cemetery is a
value.
problem.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, she played $1,050,000 in 2016.
Yeah.
But I hear you on that. And like I said, my only issue, I didn't think it was a bad appraisal. I think an appraisal for a divorce probably going to be a good one, and the other comps were okay in there. I wasn't, because it's a May 2020 appraisal, I felt like it should come maybe a little bit higher than that. Should she be at the same million that the house in front of her sold for? Because that one's now going to go for more like $1.1 million if it was on the market in September. So that was sort of my thing. And if you feel strongly that no, it should, it shouldn't come up for the time adjustment.
I do. I understand what you're saying. And I agree that if it were somewhere else, I don't always agree with time adjustment, but you would have a good point. You would certainly have a good argument. But this, because of the cemetery, the appreciation is not going to be the same. And the fact that she only paid it's only a difference of what, 25,000 since 2016? That's actually believable for that same reason of the cemetery. It's hard to explain, but it is true that this is a problem with that kind of a location. It may not ever appraise for higher. It may never sell for more than 975 because of that location.
This is Harold, and I agree with the fact that it is a rear lot, flag lot, so that it affects the value. Proximity to a cemetery also does affect the value. I think.
This is Kathleen. Does it affect the value of the house in front of her because there's a rear lot behind it, the one that sold for $1 million as well?
That's kind of blocking.
That will affect it, but this one has got it on both sides. It's got a house in front and a cemetery and all the dead people in the back.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm wondering with that $1 million sale, if it didn't have a rear lot behind it, it probably would have sold for a lot more. So
obviously,
I'm thinking about the other one on the street. That's why.
Obviously, the house in front of it has curb appeal.
Yeah, it's because it does have curb appeal because it's in the front. You can see it, number one. And the other thing is that one may have sold. That may sell for $1.1 million or $1.15 million now, but it's larger than hers. It has a pool, and it doesn't fit on the cemetery again. So you can just keep balancing it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's smaller than hers. The one in the front is smaller.
Oh, smaller than hers?
It is smaller.
It's got a pool and it doesn't have a cemetery.
In the back.
The only good thing about a cemetery is that you got nice, quiet neighbors. They have fresh flowers all year long. Other than that,
you don't have to worry about anybody building behind you.
That's true. But I will say this about that cemetery.
Above ground.
That's a pretty busy cemetery. I mean, it's not like one of those old ones where nobody ever goes in. That's a very busy cemetery.
I have a question for Kathleen. Did the appellant mention anything about the BAA change in 2017?
No.
Okay.
Not that I have in my notes.
Okay, because
She
there
just
was
did say adjacent to Oak Lawn, the bulldozers, and we talked about the house in front, and it was a May appraisal. There was another active listing that she put up as well, but it was again looking at she just kept saying it's a pool with a better lot, the one that sold in front.
Yeah, because I would just be curious about. I mean, not that we could go back. Actually, so there was this is the third time this house has been in front of the BAA. And when did they buy it?
16, I think, for $1,050,000 and
16. Okay, so no, I'm sorry, I was looking at a different one. So there was some re-inspections, but yeah, they went in front of the BAA. And on the 13th or the 15th of March of 2017, there was a BAA change. I'm just curious,
Right.
what was that all about? Because I mean, it doesn't look like the assessment went up that much. It went up $10,000 or so, maybe $11,000 from 19 to 20. So I don't know.
Yeah. So I just have two comments. One is, it's not that this cemetery was just placed there, right? So this person bought this for $1,050,000 with the cemetery there, knowing the cemetery's there. That's, my first thought. And then, is it possible to put some kind of adjustment on the land to account for the cemetery, which would, maybe bring it down, but down to 975 seems like a large leap for me.
Yeah, this Kathleen, she has an adjustment on it. She does have an adjustment on it already, right?
For the cemetery or just for the flag lot?
Yeah, it says, I think it's access.
It says access.
Yeah. Now, whether that included both of those, we don't know. So.
All right.
What do you want to do? I just want to do the other one too, because we need to keep talking about them both. So.
Well, let's hurry because it's 9:01 and I've got things to do. So
Judy's going to turn into
Let's
a
call-
pumpkin.
Let's call this to a vote.
Okay.
All those in favor of granting this appeal to $975,000, please raise your hand. Yeah, I think so.
Alexis votes yes.
The vote is opposed. The vote is 6 in favor, 1 opposed. Peter's opposed. Thank you.
Okay, and if you'll indulge me to do the second one across the street, we'll get that one off the list, and then
If that's okay with everybody, give us another 10 minutes.
7 minutes. I'm timing it.
it might be a 7-minute one, so let's do it. So this is appeal number 154. Property address is 185 Sherwood Farm Road. The owner of the property is Joseph Gill, and Carolyn Gill appealed on their behalf. I believe that they did have a letter in the file for that. I think she brought it in afterwards. And they did add some other things to the file when they came in after when the husband sent in the affidavit for the wife. He also added some other comments in the file at the same time. So this is across the street from the one we just did, and she did mention, but mostly her argument was that the land is too high because it doesn't take into account the conservation easement in the back. They do have 1.44 acres, but she said only about 0.5 of it is useful. I did have Ken or the office sort of take a look at all of the properties there in Sherwood Farm, and I think he went out and took a look and felt that, the adjustments on all the neighboring properties are pretty, are accurate for the amount of land, that the usage of the land, put it that way. So 105 is to the left of her, and she again started to talk about, the 224 property across the street that sold for $1 million. She doesn't think she could put in a pool because the way her lot is shaped. With the conservation easements. And then she provided a table, let me look at that, showing the values, of the different properties in that neighborhood. So mostly it was the conservation easements too high and the percent decrease in values not in line with other homes on the road. So she was talking about, compared to her neighbor. So I did, again, this is a bigger house than the $1 million one that sold with the pool. It is...
The one that had the pool, did that have a conservation easement on it?
No, it's a flat lot, but it's got the other.
See, that's a different, and that's
Yeah,
a big difference.
right, but that's a smaller lot. That's 1 acre. These are 1.5 acres. It's got the pool in the back, but it also has the home behind it, right? It's got that flag lot behind it. So that's the sale across the street. This one is 4,281 square feet. The one that sold, I think, was 3,600 square feet. So this is a bigger home. Again, that other one closed for $1 million, and that closed in April. So that was an early sale. I'm guessing it would be going for more than that now. And the pool does have the $33,000 worth of value in that $1 million.
And Kathleen, she already has a 0.8 easement, right, on that lot to begin with.
Yes,
right?
that's correct. Like I said, I asked Ken to go out and take a look and make sure that she was, pretty much in line with the rest of the other properties on Sherwood.
And it looks like that maybe Ken, I don't know if Ken pulled the cards and highlighted that they all have 80% 5% for the condition. And
Right,
all
that,
have
on that
easement
side
for-
of the street, right,
Yeah.
because they do have, they have bigger lots over there, but they also, it slopes differently over there, so. And she has a bigger house.
And that's all the odd numbered houses on that street.
I believe so, yes.
This is Paul, I have a question. So if all those lots or all those properties have a change at 0.8 condition, whatever it is, so, but she only has use of a very small portion of her lot. Do all those other properties have the same limitations as that?
This is Kathleen, that's what I sent Ken out to take a look at, and he said yes, he thought that it was all about, that it was pretty equal in there, that he felt the land values were accurately, drawn out between the ones on that side of the street.
Okay, well then I would question that only because, did he tell you that when he looked, did he check the wetlands map, and does he know for sure that those lands are all about the same kind of properties? Because they all have wetlands and easements from conservation on them. Because if they don't, then they're not right.
I think I believe they do.
Well, if you look at the map,
Mrs. Ross,
Harold,
I
on
have
page
the
20.
map if you look at the map.
Okay,
Yeah, at the very end, look at the map at 27, that Ken added that to the file.
Let's see, okay, so there's the subject, I got it, okay.
Right.
There's number 105 over there.
Right, and then across the street, you can see the recessed lot, right, that's in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, they all love the
Mrs.
neighbor
Ross,
with the pool
the
and the
map-
flat lot.
This is Ross. I have the map up on the screen shared with the conservation turned on.
All right, so I'm looking at that now, so the one, which one's hers?
The one in yellow.
Okay, there we go, the one in yellow, okay.
Yeah, that's up to Hill Farm. Well, the Hill Farm's on the other side of it, yeah.
Yep.
and this is Harold, and that's why it has a 0.8 factor,
Mm-hmm.
reducing the land value.
Right, like I said, as do the other ones around that they were sort of talking, that they were talking about. So their argument was primarily that the land was too high.
Mhm.
Right, and then there was the sale across the street for $1 million with the pool, but he didn't have the appraisal that the other person had. And if you look at her chart, it's mostly about, looking at the land and the increases and decreases in everybody else's property. I don't have pictures of the inside. And
No
she's
sales.
at, like I said, she's at $1,000,013. She wants to go to $1,050,000. It's a bigger house than the, 600 square feet bigger. She doesn't have the pool, and that was a May sale. So somewhere in here, I thought I did the time adjustment to figure out, what that $1,000,001 would have sold for. But I can't find it in my notes right now.
All right, are we prepared to vote?
Oh, there were multiple bids on that $1 million one too.
When?
I think it sold in May, so it would have been, right? I mean, you guys can look at the sales history, but I think it closed in May of 2020.
And how do you know that there were multiple bids on that?
She told me there were. It closed on April 7th. It closed April 17th. So it kind of closed right before COVID.
Can one of you confirm that there were multiple bids, or are you not able to, or does
Let's
that?
see. I don't know if I can confirm it, like, just,
Oh,
there's
we
no way to
can't.
look at it. You'd have to call the agent, and that we couldn't do that
Gotcha.
now, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
And
right,
I think 224 Sherwood, I don't know, what is that? Is that appraised? Be more prepared. Yeah, the town has that at $1,171,000. They paid that $1 million. So but April, so that probably went to contract before COVID or right during COVID.
And you're talking about the one at 224 Sherwood?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. You never know. Sometimes a homeowner, first of all, the home was on the market for 6 months. Okay, that's number one. It was listed at 995. It closed at $1 million. So when you tell us, when you talk about multiple bids today, Paulette and I are thinking 6 or 7 bids. There may have been one other bid, but it happened at the same time, right? So they just barely went over the list price.
So that could have been a big bidding war on that.
It wasn't a big bidding war. No, and it was on the market for 6 months.
I think it was on the market
Yeah,
longer than that.
Actually, it was on the market for 322
Yeah.
days.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
That was not a good house.
No.
It's right on the
No.
road.
Right. And the appellant is, I'm right there. They're very reasonable. They only want $50,000 more. They don't have a pool. And, I'm right there with that. I'm ready to vote yay.
I'm ready to
on that.
vote. Yeah.
Does the 224 Sherwood have the easement factor as well? No.
No, this Kathleen, no, it's a much smaller parcel. It's only an acre, but it has that house behind it on the cemetery, right? So it's got a rear lot behind it. It's got a driveway that goes along. I don't think it's a shared drive, but they have another house behind them.
Got
So
it.
it's not, the perfect lot.
I'd like to call a vote. All those in favor of granting this appeal in the amount of $1,050,000. Am I looking at the right number?
Yes.
Raise your hand. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Alexis?
I vote yes.
5 in favor, opposed? 2 opposed, the motion carries. 5 in favor, 2 opposed. Opposing is John and Peter. All right, thank you folks for hanging in there for the extra one.
Was that 7 minutes, Judy?
We made it in time. We're done. Yeah, we're good. And I'll be
All
the
right.
timer lady. Anytime I'm here, I'll be the timer lady, okay?
So Judy, you want to make the motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make the motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
John seconds.
Kathy.
Thank you very much, folks.